Go. Hello, everyone.
Everyone's exhausted.
Well,
Everyone is stressed. But let's not worry about that. We have a torture room to explore and forget all our worries with.
yeah, today's a bit of an EP stream for us. But,
I have
let,
spent I have spent more time asleep than awake, and this is despite chugging 2 energy drinks.
Happy birthday.
wow. For once in a day, you've had more energy drinks than me. It looks like this catwalk goes across about half of the room.
I think it's made like that so you can get around without standing on the floor.
All right, it's me and Loey up on voice acting duty for today.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So I can just heck off for 30 minutes. All right, I'm a nap. See y'all later.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Made that joke last time.
The L-shaped
Had too
pipe
much
and
birthday
the straight
cake.
one are both connected to this tank thing.
I made that joke last time, and it's still funny this time. So there.
They're pretty big pipes, but that tank is even bigger.
This tank thing is connecting the pipes.
This looks like it's supposed to split a pipe or something, you know? This one just connects a pair of pipes. You could have done the same thing with, the pipe. Doesn't really seem like they need it here. I wonder if there's a reason for it.
To
I don't
put
know.
victims in for torture.
I wonder if it serves another
I-
purpose.
I don't know why, but I'm just thinking back to my days as a retail hardware store worker, and when people would buy HVAC parts and pipes, those big metallic pipes.
Uh-huh.
You have to be careful with those things because the edges are fucking sharp. You could
I know.
literally cut off your hand.
My parents work in HVAC, and
Ah.
I occasionally went with them to work when I was a kid.
Was it interesting?
Yeah. I once got to go up on a scissor lift like 50 feet up in the air, and I got really scared. I don't think I had told my dad at the time that I was scared of heights.
Ah, brother, we meet again.
Someday I'll need to tell the story about the rope course I took, which was interesting.
Oh yeah, reminds me when I get zip lining. Anyway, there's a hole here, but it's got a cover over it.
Yep.
That's Junpei's line. You ain't gonna get that off. It's bolted there pretty good. Maybe there's something around here we can use to get the thing off of there.
Can you see anything in there? If you can't see anything, I don't think we need to bother with trying to open it.
It's too dark to see anything.
No one got a flashlight?
Eh?
Probably not, actually. This was before
No.
the days when people had flashlights on their phones that they all carried with them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And no previous room had a flashlight in it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I see something shiny in there?
Did you? There's something shiny in there?
Yeah. Well, maybe. We ought to check though. It'd be pretty bad if we missed something important.
True enough.
Maybe we can find something to take that cover off with.
If I get the bolts off, then I should be able to open up the tank. Okay.
You would need a very big wrench or something to pry that sucker off.
When you look at it from here, the catwalk looks pretty high up.
That makes the stairs pretty steep. You better be careful going up and down then. Why did they call it a catwalk?
I mean, I know cats are associated with higher places, so maybe that's why?
Well, I mean, their design. I can't go into the specifics about how they always land on their feet, but I believe it has to do with their gravitational muscles.
Right, but I know they have a tendency to like walk along fences and such. Like they tend to like walking across higher things rather than taking the low ground.
I'm going to take presumption that the reason that it's called a catwalk is slang for basically its function to be for humans to do the same thing as cats like that.
Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough.
That's what I was getting at. There are a number of ominous-looking tools and instruments here.
Let's see here. We got an adze and a hammer.
What the heck is an adze?
It's sort of like
forceps.
it's sort of like a mix between a hammer and a chisel. I know it's used to carve stone blocks. It's a primitive tool, and they were used in a lot of ancient constructions like the pyramids.
You learn something new every day.
Mhm.
And these other things are too old and broken. I have no idea what they are for. Hey, doesn't this wrench look way too new to be here with all this other stuff?
Yes, it does. I didn't notice it before you mentioned it, but it's not rusty at all.
Hey, this wrench looks brand new.
Considering where we found it, I have to wonder how it was used.
Knock it off. I don't want to think about that.
You've already seen plenty of things that are a lot more cooler than that. You're unexpectedly sensitive.
Come on, let's not talk about stuff that doesn't matter, okay? We need to find somewhere where we can use this thing.
Hey,
Well, we know-
Junpei,
What's
have you
up?
ever wondered why there's an ads in the torture room?
I mean, I can think of a few reasons why.
I don't
None
like
of them good. I mean, you think about something used to carve stone blocks, and you just think about what that can do to bone.
Ugh.
A number of rusty torture tools are lined up here.
I don't think there's anything else here we need.
I'm just suddenly reminded of the Egyptian burial process where they take out pieces of your brain via a hook in the nose.
Oh,
Yeah, imagine that for an alive person. Not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called a lobotomy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway.
Yeah. Levers.
the needle on the gauge is at 0. Doesn't look like it's gonna move.
Let's see.
Don't tell me we gotta reactivate the electric chair.
We probably
All
do.
the dials are pointing in different directions.
Maybe something will happen if we turn them? Ha! Shoot. They're all rusted. I guess turning them doesn't really do anything. Red, yellow, you think the colors mean something?
No idea. I mean, red looks more dangerous, but other than that,
Bottom of this one looks like it's covered in rust. I don't think it'll move at all. These levers have got to turn something on.
of course they would. All they can do is turn something on or off. What's important is what they turn on or off.
Don't say the floor is going to suddenly open up.
There are a bunch of buttons here with the letters A through F on them. I wonder if they do anything. Down you go. So I press it again. Back you come. I guess these buttons switch something on or off when you push them.
I have a feeling that those are in base A, base B,
yeah.
base C, base B.
I was not expecting this to do something.
All right, let's pull the lever, Junpei. Run!
Is that water?
What the hell?
Wrong lever.
What's going on?
Will you calm down? It's just water going somewhere.
Sounds like it's underneath us. That means the floor. Oh! Junpei, look!
What's she? Oh, damn! I can see through the glass now.
Huh!
There are a couple of letters in the color of blood written on the shark's belly.
That's a fuck. I didn't even notice the shark.
It's dead. Looks like the letters E, D, B, and F. Whatever these are for, it has to be in this room somewhere.
Can we just talk for a second how fucking absolutely nuts it is to incorporate a shark's corpse, which has been covered with blood in letters, into a goddamn puzzle?
Yep.
Right?
A really creepy chair. The manacles make me think it was used to torture people.
Well, we can't open these manacles without a key. There's some sort of weird symbol on them.
Is there?
What kind of symbol?
Well, if I've got this right, I think it's the sun symbol. We never did find the sun key before, did we?
We
I
did
don't
not.
think so.
Yeah, we needed to lock the door in the cave in Sunny Peak.
There's something on the screen.
Oh no, wait, that's wrong. That's the rainbow key.
This device will conduct
The
the
sun
experiment.
key is for the wild woods.
Once the experiment has been completed, the door will unlock. First, adjust the switches to match the blocks in the sample above.
What?
I don't know what this thing is, but we gotta figure out this puzzle.
It's right next to a torture chair. Whatever it is, I don't think it's good.
Anyway, we adjust the switches to match the blocks up on top, right?
You adjust the switches shown in the four corners at the screen, then press the check button. Junpei, we don't know what this thing does. You can always come back to it later. There are lots of other things you can do.
As a heads up, this is one of those puzzles where I mentioned that the hint button is required.
Yeah, the hand button would be the bottom screen on
Ah, I see.
the DS. Actually, it would be the top screen.
I have matcha flavored Pocky Sticks.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That turned out easier than I thought it would be.
Hey.
Like, I thought it was going to be like, oh, if two are on that affect the same block, they'll turn off. But no. No.
Adjustment is completed.
It's inclusive for, not exclusive for.
Now proceeding to
No.
execution phase. To complete the experiment, data must be collected from subject. Once preparation is finished, place subject in chair.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought we solved the puzzle already. What does it mean by preparation?
What does it mean by execution phase?
Science boy?
I don't. Oh no, not science. Sorry.
Science
I don't know. I've
No,
got a bad
Monokuma, it's not execution, it's punishment that you do. Come on.
I think it means one of us has got to sit in the chair.
Oh god. Well, Seven's never going to fit in that thing. It's either you or me, Junpei. Collecting data. What if it's going to run electricity through the subject?
The human. Oh,
There's a human head on the screen. Maybe it's gonna zap the brain with a little electricity.
This really doesn't sound safe. Yeah, this doesn't sound like the electroshock therapy that they use to help depress people.
yeah.
That's also quackery.
Yeah.
No, well, actually, it's because a friend of mine, she said that she got like little nodes in her head, and then I forget what it is, but it's just like they stimulate your brain with the little electroshocks. I don't remember what it was called.
I am not going to go into the details as to why I know for certain that this is quackery on stream. Just know that you are not going to convince me otherwise. Because I have personal experience with it. Anyway, moving on.
We can talk about this after we figured out what it means by preparation, alright?
Well, it wants us to prepare, so maybe we ought to ask what we need to do.
Cannot communicate with external hardware. Check connection and power source. External hardware? That must be the chair. After all, there's all these cables running between them.
I don't see a power source for the chair, though. You think maybe it's controlled from somewhere else?
Looks like the only controls are in this room. Okay. First things first. Let's get those bolts off. Should be able to get those bolts off with this wrench we just found, though. Sweet, it's open.
The hole's too small. You can't see in, even with the cover off.
Well, you can't see it in, but I think there's enough room to stick your arm in.
1 second. Oh, my legs are stiff. Okay. Are you sure you want to do that? There could be something dangerous in there.
Okay, I admit, that scares me a little, but we need to see if there's anything useful in there.
Gotta
Alright,
do it.
here we go. Arm into the hole. Hey, I think I can feel something. It's small, cold, and hard. Doesn't feel like there's anything else in here. Alright, let's see what this thing is.
It's
We
the
already got our
key!
A key with the sun symbol on it.
We should be able to open the other door with this.
Yeah, but we gotta get out of this room before we can do that.
And we're probably gonna need the sun key to do that.
But none of the doors in this room have keyholes. So we gotta use it on something that's not a door.
Alright. Oh, let me just double check. EDVF. What?
There's a strange noise coming from the chair. Looks like it's been turned on. I guess the puzzle here was that the power had to be sent in a specific way.
Error. The restraining device is locked but empty. The subject has not been properly placed. Unlock the restraining device and reseat subject. Well, the restraining device has to be the chair.
Well then, I guess we just need to unlock the chair.
The sun key should fit into the keyhole on the manacles. Alright, sun key, in you go. And open! Great, they're open. I don't think we're gonna need the sun key again in here, though. It just seems unlikely. Alright, sun key, you've done your job. Into my pocket with you.
Into the abyss with you, throws it away.
I don't think examining the chair is going to cause that machine to do anything. I should probably take a look at the monitor instead. The restraining device is unlocked. Please seat subject and device. The message on the screen was disturbingly detached.
Well, like we thought, it's not going to work unless someone sits in it.
How ironic that this would be the situation in which this slim, beautiful body is useful.
Lotus, are you sure? I can sit in it and you can solve.
Junpei's right. If we screw it up,
Seven couldn't bring himself to finish the thought. His eyes fell to the floor. Junpei followed them. Beneath them was the dead shark, floating underneath the glass. Perhaps it had been killed by an electric shock.
I'll be fine. Even if I fall in, the shark is already dead.
But
No one likes an indecisive man, Junpei. I can still give you advice from the chair too, you know. I just don't want to stay in this room
No,
any
you
longer
can't.
than
Not
have
if you're going to get
Go over
shocked
that
to
screen and
shit.
Let's get this over with.
One of the reasons why electricity is so dangerous is it makes you seize, it makes your muscles seize up.
I mean, given the situation, I don't think that would be the big problem. After her words had made it clear that Lotus would book no argument, she turned and walked toward the chair without hesitation. I will say, there's a part of me that's glad to see Lotus do this, considering, like, on the first route, we saw her being extremely selfish in regards to being like, hey, let's abandon everyone else and just leave.
And I'm pretty sure that Lotus killed a snake.
Oh.
Or was one of the two killers that shoved shoved Snake through the door.
I'm I don't believe in that.
Interesting. Interesting.
Anyway. But she did not sit down. Despite what she had said, she did indeed feel hesitation. Her legs shook.
Look, do you think you could do me one last favor?
Don't say last.
You're making me nervous.
Just listen. If something happens to me, I want you to tell my daughters. Tell them that I loved them very much. No, tell them that I will always love them.
Daughters?
You've got kids?
Yes, I do. I suppose they're about your age, Junpei. They're twins. I had them when I was young after... well, some things happened. Their names are Nona and...
Wait.
That's familiar.
We've heard that
Nona?
name.
Junpei's words shot out before he even realized what he was saying. He remembered the story Seven had told him.
Aoi, Light, and Nona. Those were their names. Well, some of them. The kids that were in the experiment.
But what the hell? What's wrong with you?
Lotus took a step back from Junpei.
Oh.
Seven looked just as shocked as Junpei. He blinked his eyes rapidly, as if he weren't sure if he was completely awake.
No way. It couldn't. Lotus, is your last name Kashiwabara?
Lotus's eyes went wide.
How do you know that?
Are you serious? What the hell is this? There's no way you're that kid's mom.
That kid? Wait, what do you mean, that kid? Why are you acting like you've met her?
Seven's brow furrowed.
I have.
What?
Yeah, I met one of your kids.
When?
9 years ago.
Where?
On this ship.
Why were you...
It's not a short story.
Look, I don't care how long it is. Tell me, please, what happened here?
Fine, I'll tell you.
Seven glanced at Junpei, then turned back to Lotus and began to speak. It was the same story Junpei had heard only minutes before. Every detail.
But... And then, that was when. From there, it looked like... just as if, finally... That's all I remember from 9 years ago.
At last, Seven finished. Lotus shook her head.
Oh my god. Everything I've been looking for the last 9 years. The person who had all the answers was
What?
right here.
Why do I have a feeling that there is another layer to the name Nonori game and it involves Nona in some way?
Possibly.
Looking for?
Yes, that's right. 9 years ago, my daughters disappeared. Then 9 days later, they came back. They never told me what happened to them over those 9 days. I took them to the doctor, but I was told they hadn't been hurt in any way. Still, I was sure that they had been through something terrible. So I couldn't bring myself to force them to talk about it. If I did, then I'd force them to relive whatever horrors they'd been through. I didn't have any choice. I had to try and ignore it and move on.
Oh.
A few months passed. Gradually, they started to act like they always had, before they disappeared. They smiled and made jokes and did all the silly things kids do. It got harder and harder for me to ask them about what happened. How could I ask them to remember that? Eventually, I knew there was no way I could do it. But I'm still a mother. I couldn't simply forget that something terrible had happened to my children. So I decided I would investigate what happened on my own. I would find out what happened during those 9 missing days.
What did you find out?
Nothing. The police pretended to be concerned, but they didn't do anything. Once the 16 children who'd gone missing came back, things were just... Even the media didn't talk about what had happened. I figured someone was probably paying or threatening them to keep their mouths shut.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals. No, probably something even bigger than that.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
Have you heard of them before?
No. It's the first time I've ever heard that name. 7. How did you find out that Cradle Pharmaceuticals was connected to the kidnappings in the first place?
I figured finding out whatever the victims had in common would lead me to the culprit. That's what any good cop does.
What did they have in common?
Every single one of the kids who disappeared had gone to this one hospital at some point. The hospital was one of a bunch that were under the control of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. After that, it was just about connecting the dots.
The hospital.
The hospital.
And for a while, I was trying to get some kind of information out of the kids at the hospital. One of them told a weird story.
What was it?
Have you heard about the Gansfeld experiment? I guess all these kids had to go through it while they were at the hospital.
Here we go again!
I think it was passed off as some sort of counseling.
I mean, at least we're not freezing to death as we go through a story this time.
True.
What did you
We're
call it
just
again?
running out the time in a torture chamber.
Oh,
We got
the
several
Gansfeld
hours.
experiment.
We're on plot
This
time.
is how
It's
it's set
fine.
up. First, subjects Q and A are put into separate rooms, far away from one another. Then a series of video images are shown to subject Q, who is told to send the images to subject A by thinking about them. Subject A, on the other hand, is put in a large reclining chair and given a blindfold. With their senses cut off, A is asked to guess what images Q is looking at.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that. It's a famous telepathy experiment, isn't it?
Telepathy. That's how the experiment on this ship was supposed to work.
The experiment to control people, right?
Yeah. I don't know if any of the telepathy stuff really exists, but maybe someone from Cradle Pharmaceuticals bought into it.
Lotus grunted. Seven had been thinking hard for the last several minutes and finally spoke.
Even if that is the case, I still don't get how that has anything to do with any of this. The notary game, Zero, why we were kidnapped. What does any of that have to do with telepathy? I know I brought all this up, but I have no idea. Maybe none of this stuff is connected after all.
Then, in that moment of silence, a cold voice echoed down from the ceiling.
No subject has been detected. Unless a subject is detected within 60 seconds, all power will be shut down. System recovery is estimated to take 1 hour. If you wish to proceed with
shit?
the experiment, please seat subject in the restraining device.
Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going.
Oh, no, that's not what we...
Just hurry up and get it over with. Junpei, I'm counting on you.
Right.
Lotus sat down on the chair. Junpei looked at her one last time and made his way to the monitor.
Lotus, please, tell me right away if you feel anything weird.
You worry too much. Now get on with it and be a man, or June's gonna leave you.
Lotus was putting on the best act she could manage, but her legs were shaking so much that if she hadn't been sitting, she likely would have fallen down.
Lotus.
Failure was not acceptable.
Okay, let's do this.
Junpei took one last deep breath, and stared at the monitor.
Yeah, I agree with you, Earth. This scene does wonders for Lotus's character.
Okay, that's...
Okay, well that side's right. That side's also right.
That was
Congrats.
the fastest I've ever seen anyone do this puzzle. What the fuck?
Was this supposed to be difficult?
Yes.
Did I miss something and just himbo my way to a solution?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not really. It is relatively simple. It's just because of how it's structured, especially in this version, it makes a lot of people confused.
Huh.
Like, I've always seen people take at minimum, like, 6 minutes to do this puzzle.
Yeah, Leo is not exempt from this. Also, I have a fun piece of art to share. because, so here is some concept art for some of the characters, including some of them that do not go into this room, in the torture chamber.
Oh, this is new to me.
The experiment has concluded. The door will now unlock. I could hear the door unlocking, and now we've got a new message.
How
Release
is this
subject
supposed to
from
happen?
restraining device.
It's not.
There's 6 people in here.
Lotus.
Yeah, it's not. It's just some cool art.
Lotus, are you alright?
Yes, I am. I'm glad nothing bad happened, but I do think my life just got a little shorter.
Hold on. I'll get you out right away. Shouldn't take long for Seven and me to get her out of here.
Let's get out of here now.
7 just rips the chair apart.
Being a guinea pig is not for me.
Damn straight. I don't ever want to see this thing again.
Well, room complete.
Well,
Found it!
That didn't take long.
Yep.
Found it.
Like, that one puzzle's the hardest, is the only part of the room that's even remotely hard.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
The
you
hallway
just ran
goes to
through
the
it in, like,
left.
60 seconds.
Yeah, but I don't see any doors.
Yes, we just need to keep going.
Right. Let's go.
I turned left twice before they saw the elevator.
An elevator.
Just what we need. Let's take this to C-Deck.
In silence, they jogged up to it. Junpei pushed the C button. The elevator motor ground away, and before long they found themselves once again on C deck. The door opened, and they stepped off.
Huh?
They had expected to find 4 other people waiting for them. There were none.
No one's here.
Where did they go?
I have no idea.
Lotus shrugged. Something in the pit of Junpei's stomach stirred. He tried to forget the feeling, and took off down the long hallway before him.
Hey, Junpei!
We should follow him.
Time to get stabbed.
Time to get
Seven and
stabbed.
Lotus followed at a run. They ran and ran and ran. The hallway seemed endless.
I know where we need to go. The door behind the central staircase. There was a sun symbol on the keyhole of that door. And I happen to have the sun key in my pocket right now. This should open that door.
That was why they ran for the central staircase. They had run for quite some time when they arrived at the door that ended the hallway. Junpei stopped.
All right, time to open this.
He laid his hand on the doorknob, his breathing heavy. Seven laid a hand on his arm.
Hold on a sec there.
Huh?
We don't have the key for this one yet.
There was the Jupiter symbol engraved over the keyhole.
That's...
Oh, it's the Jupiter symbol.
Seven was right. They had no Jupiter key.
Then we can't open this door.
Unfortunately, no, we can't.
That was behind one of the doors that's not 3, isn't it?
Yep.
Jeez, the sun door's gotta be just on the other side of this, you know? We can't just stop...
So, if we had gone through 7 and 8, and then... so, like... Yeah, 7 and, or 8, those two on the left, and then gone down this right path.
Mm-hmm.
Frustrated, he twisted the door knob. Door opened.
Hey, it opened.
What?
And the others must have found the Jupiter key.
Well, what are we waiting for?
As he spoke, he shoved the door the rest of the way open. Guess it doesn't matter. They rushed through and stopped cold.
What?
The terrible scene before them made their blood run cold.
Oh, fuck!
Clover is dead.
Yep.
Oh!
3 people lay dead on the floor covered in blood. Okay, let's see. We got 5, 7, and 8 with us. 2 and 9 are already dead. That's 1, 3, 4. June, what the fuck did you do?
Why?
Junpei felt a cold sweat trickle down his spine. He couldn't breathe. His legs shook. His body felt cold, deathly cold. But his blood was boiling hot. He could feel his mind begin to fade. He couldn't think. He couldn't concentrate. His mind was blank.
What the hell? What the hell happened?
Seven's voice was weak and broken. He edged toward the bodies, his movements stiff.
Clover.
He bent down over Clover and pressed his fingers to her wrist.
Nothing.
Suddenly, Lotus moved. Before he understood what was happening, her hand was in Junpei's vest pocket.
Hey, what are you doing?
He leapt back. Lotus looked up at him, terrified.
The key! Get me the sun key!
Why?
Why do you think? We have to get out of here before the murderer comes back!
The murderer?
The murderer. The murderer. Once again, Junpei looked at the dead bodies.
Santa, Clover, and Ace. 3 people, 3 dead bodies. That means that the person who had killed them was... No. No, it can't be true.
Give it to me!
Before Junpei could react, Lotus dove back into his pocket and came out with the key.
Let's go!
Without waiting for Seven or Junpei, she ran straight for the central staircase. They followed. Junpei shut his eyes and swallowed his emotions. Morning would have to wait. Soon, they stood in front of the door.
Open!
In just a few hours, it will be morning. Lotus
In
shoved
just
the
a few hours, the sun will rise.
Thank you.
I was
That's
gonna
what
say it if you didn't.
That's what I was going for.
What is that reference?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know it from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. Apparently, it's an actual line from the dub of Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's hilarious.
That they decided to throw in there because it's just so nonsensical. Lotus shoved the sun key into the keyhole and twisted it hard. But
Why?
What happened?
Nothing. Nothing happened. I didn't feel it unlock.
Oh no. Is it the wrong key?
I don't know.
Lotus sighed, defeated, and leaned against the doorknob. She felt the twist. A small gap appeared between the door and the frame.
It's open.
Is June the master of unlocking things? First the Jupiter door, now this one.
No, that's
What
just.
the hell is this?
Wait, you mean the door was already unlocked?
Why?
And how would I know that? Whatever, let's just go.
Lotus took a deep breath and slowly opened the door the rest of the way. They stepped inside. In front of them was another hallway. It stretched out toward the bow of the ship. They began to run. Faster and faster they ran, trying desperately to reach the end of the hallway. A few seconds later, there they were. In front of them stood a massive metal door. They were all breathing heavily as Junpei spoke.
What the hell is this door? I can't see anything that looks like a doorknob or switch or lever or card reader or anything. How the fuck are we supposed to open this?
We don't have a choice. We're gonna have to go back.
No, I'm not going back there. There is a murderer back there.
There was more stark terror in Lotus's voice than authority. She was almost begging.
But I don't see any other doors.
As he spoke, Seven stepped toward the door in front of them as if to illustrate that it was the only door.
Oh,
No way.
Well, that was easy.
It opened by itself.
It's an automatic door?
Look, guys, I've got a really bad feeling about all this. The other doors were already unlocked, and this one's automatic. We haven't seen anything like this before.
Bad feeling.
How could their situation possibly get worse? 3 people were already
We've
dead.
hit bottom. This can't get any worse. Shit!
Hey, Junpei!
He stepped through the door.
I can't take this anymore. No one can.
And whatever hope Junpei had managed to summon disappeared.
No. It's a lie. It's gotta be. This can't be real. No. It's impossible. If it's a dream, just wake up already. Someone please tell me it's all just a joke. I'm imagining things. Yep, that's it. This is all obviously a lie. It's a big, elaborate trick. An illusion or something, or a dream. It's made up.
It wasn't real, right? June... No, the code names meant nothing now. Connie. Junpei cried out and leapt through the door. He flew to her side, his heart like a stone in his chest.
Connie, hang on.
Junpei swept her up and shook her by the shoulder. Of course, the question is, who killed everyone then, if not June?
Who indeed?
Or maybe June is the killer. She moaned, and her eyes fluttered open, but only barely.
Connie!
Jumpy?
Her face was pale, and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei, but saw nothing. Junpei put his hand against the small of her back to hold her up. It felt warm and wet. He lifted his hand up. It was covered in blood.
Oh man. Connie, there's so much blood. What the hell happened to you? How did this happen?
It was all he could do not to break into tears.
Jumpy, I'm sorry.
Her voice was thin, a minuscule thread that was the only thing keeping her with him.
I might not make it.
No way. I am going to let you die. I am going to save you. I promise.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you again, Jumpy.
And then she stabbed me.
Really happy.
Don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You just gotta hang on, all right, Connie? You... Ow, what can I do? Damn it!
He looked up from Connie, desperate for something, anything.
What's that?
Then he saw it. A small submarine.
A submarine? What on earth is a submarine doing here?
No, that didn't matter. Nothing mattered except saving Connie. That was the only thing he wanted.
That's it!
Junpei turned his head back to look down at her.
Hang on, alright? There's a submarine over there. I'm gonna go see if it works.
No! Don't go! Please, don't go! Please, just stay with me, okay? I want to be close to you, Jumpy. When I...
Connie.
Jumpy, did you know you meant a lot to me when we were kids? I've loved
Okay,
you
for a second,
a long time.
when she said Jumpy, did you know? I thought she was going to start talking about the crystallization of glycerin again.
I know, right?
Oh my god!
Did you know that there was an ancient mummy on this ship? She was constantly frozen, and that's why they called her Alice. Are all eyes, get it?
A really long time.
Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could
Tell
feel
me,
it.
why aren't these your last fucking words?
He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart, like a white-hot flame.
Jumpy, do you remember how we hung out a lot when we were kids? We went to the pool and to the fair. Do you remember playing snowball at the school? They're all memories I'll never forget. All of those moments are treasures to me. But I also wanted to go to a lot of other places with you. A lot more. But that won't happen now.
No. I mean, yes. Yes, it will happen. We'll go all sorts of places, Connie. You hear me? I promise. We'll go wherever you want.
Really?
Yeah, really. I swear.
That makes me happy. Really happy.
She said it to herself over and over, a weak smile creasing her tired face.
Jumpy, I feel sleepy.
No, Connie, don't fall asleep.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much.
Her eyes were slowly closing. Junpei screamed, even as he felt his throat go hoarse.
Connie! Connie! Connie!
Oh, that fucking scene.
Oh,
That
boy.
was a good scene.
Yeah.
Junpei and June's voice actors knock that scene out of the goddamn park.
Yeah, even if we kept memeing over it. Time passed.
Sorry.
I started it. Junpei wept, curled around Connie's body. He cried and cried until he had no tears left. When the last tear fell, Junpei was no more. His body remained, but only as an empty shell. Somewhere he heard a bell ring. It was the clock at the central staircase. It rang 5 times, then faded.
5 o'clock.
Quietly, gently, softly, he set Connie down on the floor. Slowly, Junpei stood. Hi, Dragon Cat.
Hello, Dragon Cat.
You missed some shit.
Everyone is dead.
Present. Yeah, pretty much everybody is fucking dead now. We don't know why or how.
Yeah. We thought it was June, and then we found June, so... Only then did he realize that Seven and Lotus had not followed him. Where had they gone? Slowly, he looked around the room. There was nothing. No sign that they had ever been there. It felt as though every part of Junpei's body was made of lead. Slowly, he made his way to the door he'd come through. As he approached it, it opened, sliding apart with a sound like grinding stone. Junpei passed through the gate and into the hallway.
What?
What?
Okay, so that confirms it. So, like, when we saw the first few bodies, I thought it was June that had killed them. But, June couldn't have done this.
Nope.
So, there is a secret 10th member, shall we say, hidden somewhere on this boat. Look out for her.
Watch out for her. Yeah.
Or watch out for them.
True. We don't know. His heart rattled in his chest, an empty, lifeless thing. It had been so utterly broken that there was nothing left to feel. When he saw their bodies, he simply stared. It was a lake, a sea of blood. 2 bodies lay in it. There was no need to check. There was no breath left in them. His eyes lit on Lotus's wrist. Her bracelet was gone. He stared. It meant nothing to him. He didn't care anymore. He couldn't care anymore. Junpei's body felt numb. Part of him knew the lump of lead in his chest had once been a heart. He couldn't quite remember what it had been for. Tears poured from his eyes in great streams. He wasn't sure why. He gave up trying to make them stop. He turned around. The door opened again, and slowly, numbly, he walked through. He kept walking. Why stop? An object set in motion, simple inertia carried him forward. Eventually, he found himself in front of the yellow submarine. His arm reached for the hatch. And then he was floating in water. His eyes stared down into it. He couldn't see the bottom. His back was hot. Dimly, he felt the blade of a knife in it. Who? One dead body lay behind door number 5. the body of the 9th man. Another lay in the shower room, the body of Snake. At the central staircase were 3 more, Ace, Santa, and Clover. Just outside the door were 2 corpses, those of Seven and Lotus. And in this very room lay the body that had once been Connie. And now, Junpei would join them. Who, then, had killed them all? Who? I like this music that plays during the bad ends.
It's very good.
Yeah, it just definitely gives you the sense of, welp, you fucked up.
Yeah. Junpei
Quiet
let
is
out
such a good song.
Junpei let out one last breath. Faintly, he felt the bubbles creep up the side of his face. His consciousness faded quickly, dissolving away into the cold, gentle lapping of the water.
The other thing is, there are 11 people on this boat.
Oh yeah, the captain guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can skip the credits here.
I'm pressing all the buttons. They are not doing anything.
Congrats on getting your 3rd ending, the sub-ending.
Congratulations! You've just gotten the worst ending. Everyone fucking dies. I guess you could say this ending was subpar.
Oh my god.
I mean, the other endings aren't any better. Everyone else dies in those 2.
Well, I mean,
we
Clover
only
lived in the
know
first
that
one,
Lotus
I think.
and Junpei die in the 9th ending.
Yeah. Clover certainly lived in the first one, I think. Because she took the bracelets to escape. But I can't help but be reminded of Tracking Guard. Has anyone here played that?
I have not played it, but I know plenty of it.
Okay.
I haven't. They're not particularly easy to play.
Yeah.
These days.
I mean, I will say if you play with a cheat that makes it so that your weapons level up much faster, it's not that bad. But and the story is really good in my opinion. But
I'll play it one day.
one thing about Dragon Guard is like you do your first playthrough of the game and you think, wow, that sure was a downer ending, but now I have access to alternate paths. Surely this will allow me to get a better ending by taking a different route.
Oh, hey.
And then you go through, and things get worse.
The end, or is it?
Or is it? But yeah, and then, you know, each time you go through a new ending in that, it somehow gets worse. And so, I'm just reminded of that with this. I was like, you know, we keep trying for the other endings. The achievement I got said, we all die by a yellow submarine.
Yep. Alright, so... you are actually very much correct in your assessment, Earth. You've gotten all 3 base endings. Now, you have to go for the conditionals. I will give you one... Hey, I will give you one
I was just gonna
question
say for him to time to think. I'm not gonna say anything about how to get the endings.
I'm going to give you one singular question here.
Uh-huh.
Do you want a small bit of guidance?
Sure.
Red.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that it was like, you go down the routes that have the same key. Like, I noticed this one has the X over it. So apparently there's a different choice I could have made here. And then
So,
here,
basically
here,
what
here, here, and here. That would enable me to go here.
So what you're gonna need to do, go back to the choice on the first set of doors and swap to the other one. You'll notice you have a green line indicating which path you are currently canonically going down.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So, in order to do so, you'll also notice that none of the doors you have are indicated for the red locks. You want to switch to the other door, and then do the same for the second set and third set.
Yeah, and
you do
I
not
noticed,
have to go through... But
well, I noticed I've got some of the white locks done already. So, like, if I swap to here, and then went down here, and then down here, and then here...
So, it doesn't actually indicate with whether or not you've unlocked these locks unless you're on the proper path. You've actually gotten most of the red locks already, but because you're not on door 4 right now, I mean 5, it doesn't tell you that.
Yeah, you actually did most of the conditionals for it really early on.
Yeah, you did. You just didn't. You did most of the conditionals, just not like 75% of them. That's all I say.
I will say there is also one thing that's bugging me. This.
What's up?
Should I just go through and get...
No.
Do not bother.
It is literally not worth it. It's just like, oh, there's slightly different text here that takes you down this path. It is literally not worth it.
Okay, maybe
There is
off stream
nothing
just
of
to
worth.
satisfy my OCD then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go back
So
up here and then
you're
choose
insisting
through
I do
Roman
red
Snake
first
instead.
and not white first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I second red first.
I also second red first.
There is a reason. We will go into it later.
I thought we were finished.
Much
with that
later.
topic.
Time to skip.
Noom, time to eat my hot dog.
Nom 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 nom. Unfortunately, we gotta go through all the puzzles again.
Not all of them.
We have
let's
to go
see.
through door 5.
We want to go through door 5 with Snake and 7.
Yep. I just realized how fucking pale Snake is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets no sun.
He's a ghost.
Yeah, I guess he is, huh?
Okay. But, I mean, the puzzles should be a lot quicker now that A, we know what to do, and B, we're not voicing everything.
Okay, but I mean very literally we do not have to do most of them.
Oh.
Because we've already gotten the procs for both the first and second room for this route, once we switch over to the path that has us going into those rooms, we can just completely skip them.
Do we have genuinely, I don't remember. Do we have to redo this one or not? Because
No,
I don't.
I just said that we don't.
I mean, yeah, but
Go
this one doesn't have a lock. That's the thing. I don't remember.
Go into the flow chart. Okay, now jump over to your second decision and go to door 7. No, 8. It's 8.
So, yeah, I checked like that.
Well,
Also,
we really
when
don't
we
have
get
a
to the
choice
third
then.
door, remember to switch back to novel.
Noom.
I imagine you had to go. I imagine you had to go through the entire, like on the original version.
Okay, 8 it is.
You technically didn't see this dialogue.
All right then. I mean,
But it's whatever. Just skip through it.
what? If this
Yes, you did have to go through
have
each
3,
every
5,
puzzle
and
every
8
time
go
in the
through
original
7,
version.
and 4,
I
6,
still think
4,
the
or-
original was the better choice to go
or
through,
no, you know
but
the-
we haven't gone into why yet.
Hey, come on. You're making it sound like.
Alright, Noom time again.
Oh, hey, hit right bumper.
It doesn't matter yet.
Yeah, not until we get to door 6.
And our friends are all aboard. Many more of them live next door.
BS Dragon Cat. Drakengard does not do happily ever after.
No.
It starts out with everybody dying, escalates to the entire. Oh, come on.
Let's not spoil what the actual endings are in Drakengard, but I will say, the first ending is a downer ending, but it is not a. It is a tragic but happy ending. That is also the ending that goes into Drakengard 2, which admittedly is non-canon-ish.
Alright.
Quiet,
So,
everybody.
now we've
It's
done that-
science boy time.
No, sadly. Okay,
So-
we're jumping over to the third door, and we're choosing door 6.
You could just jump there.
We do have to do the puzzles this time.
Okay, but you know what? Question: could I just hop here?
I don't think so.
I think you can because this puts you on the path forward.
I'd suggest just avoiding doing any unnecessary skipping.
Yeah, let's play it safe.
All right.
We'll go through the dialogue pretty fast anyway.
Yeah, I honestly thought we were gonna have to do
Alright, 7 pieces.
I thought we were gonna have to do the rooms again, so I thought this was gonna take a lot longer. Now I realize, this is actually gonna be a lot quicker.
Yeah, the only ones we're gonna have to do were door 6 because we didn't go through the conditionals for them the first time.
Yeah, Dragon Cat, exactly. The last one is absolutely what the fuck is ascending. But hey, we got Nier out of it, so, you know. Also, I kind of like the song that plays in that one.
Okay. Time to deal the engine room again and the worst room in the game again.
Well, we don't have to do the second room, the second room all the way through. We just have to do the very beginning of it.
But the thing. Oh, right.
Well, we know the answers already, so this is not going to take long.
Yeah, I'm correcting Loey that we do have to do through it. Because there's multiple scenes that change in this time.
Okay, so let's see if I remember.
We can help you if you need to.
Also, don't forget to switch to novel when you get the chance.
Yep. Okay, let's see.
Where did we start? I think we have to go up the stairs, actually.
Okay, let's cross across. Okay, boxes over there.
You might have to go through another door. I think you have to go through door B.
Yeah, now I remember.
Oh, wait, we need the winch for the other. Yeah, we need to go through B, get the winch, and then go through door C.
Yeah, you were correct. Okay, we got a wheel. No, I'm just trying to skip the text. I didn't mean to check it again. Okay, B.
Go through C. Attach the winch.
Pull the lever.
Well, we're not pulling a lever, we're spinning a wheel.
Spin the wheel, rabbit new bones.
Pull the lever.
I believe the box has reached the floor.
Stood there for a few more minutes, no one speaking until Santa turned and walked away from the winch. Junpei and Ace followed him.
Disney
You know, speaking of experiments,
Santa suddenly stopped.
there was this experiment some scientists did with rats.
Oh my god.
First, they took a squarish C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water that the rats could drown in it. The tank has 2 exits. Just to make it easy, we'll call one A and the other B. Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see anything. But exit B is electrified, which means the rat can't leave through it. So, what would a rat do if it was put in this situation? Which exit would the rat choose?
There was a moment of silence after Santa posed the question, and then Ace responded.
B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified.
Exactly. The rat goes to exit B. Of course, like I said, it's electrified, which means the rat can't get out that way. So, After a lot of trial and error, the rat finally finds exit A.
I can't say that's very interesting or relevant. It's simply the story of a laboratory experiment.
Ace summing up all of her experiences when everyone says, "Hey, you want this? Reminds me of an experiment."
You're right. It isn't very interesting. Yet. See, these scientists repeated this experiment over and over, using hundreds of different rats over several generations. This produced some surprising results. With each generation, the rats took less time to find the correct exit. Eventually, a rat was put in the tank who instantly chose exit A without even attempting to go to exit B. But that wasn't the most impressive part. The same experiment was conducted in another laboratory, far from the original one, with the same results. No, on second thought, the results weren't really the same. The rats in this second experiment began the trials with significantly faster times than the first rats in the initial one. These rats weren't related to the others and had never even come in contact with them. And yet, they all easily found their way to exit A as though they already knew. What did it mean?
Are you suggesting something like telepathy? They were passing information to one another through some undetectable medium?
Ace looked skeptical. Santa snorted at him.
How the hell would I know? I'm not any kind of scientist. I don't know what made him do that. But I do know that story's true. And if you've got another explanation, I'd sure love to hear it.
I'm kind of curious why this route is the one that leads to them talking about this, because this feels tied to what Lotus was talking about in that first route on the left, which we had to not take to get to this route.
Questions for later.
Come on.
No, you talk.
Let's get going.
You talk to Lotus.
There's still a lot
in
here
the
we haven't
second
checked
one
out.
in this route, where she does the computer speech.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the thing with the dog picture. Yeah.
And
Spoon
we gotta
your
get the
butt.
hell out of here before June passes out.
Without waiting for a response, he turned around and started walking. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave the topic alone.
Hey, wait. There's something I want to ask you. What?
Santa stopped and turned around.
Why did they use that tank for the experiment?
Huh?
Well, I mean, it seems like you could conduct the same experiment without the water. They could have just used a dry box, you know? If they needed to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put some bait by exit B or something. I mean, do they really have to make it so the rats can drown?
Santa gave a grim bark of a laugh.
You know, the word emergency comes from the same root as the word emerge. You ever think about that? Huh? Well, an emergency is something urgent, often something dangerous. And to emerge means to sort of come out, or appear, or rise out of something else. So what's going to emerge in an emergency? Inspiration.
Inspiration?
Yeah. Think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up what you need.
So in an emergency, your real potential emerges. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. There had to be an emergency for inspiration to emerge.
Oh.
Junpei suddenly felt cold. The back of his head was aching, and his stomach felt strange.
We have to get over to the box. Other side.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see.
Oh my god, I did not... Oh my god!
Stop pressing buttons!
Well, the thing is, I'm trying to speed through the text, but the same button that goes through the text also, like, confirms. Like, this isn't one of those games where I can press the B button to go through. Oh wait, I can press left bumper to do it.
Gotta grab that coal.
Oh, right.
Box.
Oh my god, I did not mean to.
You gotta stop.
And because it's not in cutscene mode, I can't just select skip. Let's see. That's not what I meant. The staircase, Junpei.
Hold the lever, Junpei! Now we gotta grab the gears.
Yep. Oh my god.
Just grab the things and go!
Oh my god.
Well, you were struggling, my guy.
Not beating the speed run with this.
Nope.
There's a reason I'm not a speedrunner.
I would like to see what a speed run of this game would look like to get all endings.
You could probably get all of them, beat the game in like 1 hour if you.
What about 9 hours?
Oh right.
Jesus Christ.
That way, and then this way. Let's see. Wasn't gold
You gotta
on
swap
top?
the gold and the bronze. I meant the gold with the silver, I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Don't be hasty. There you go.
Yes! The door's open!
Now to sit back and relax.
You're still gonna have to deal with the bullshit of the F puzzle and the pushmaster.
Yeah, but we know how to. We know what to do.
We
now.
didn't have parents. They bought it in an accident when we were still kids. So I had to be like her dad. And that meant that I bought her Christmas presents every year.
Ah, this is an elaboration on the which Santa am I?
On Christmas Eve, I'd leave the present next to her pillow. And the next morning, she'd come running into my room with this big smile. Look, look, Santa left me a present. He got me that doll I really wanted. I'm so glad he got my letter. She was always so excited. I was the one who told her to write those letters. I'd say, write down something you want and mail it to Santa. The address I gave her was somewhere in Northern Europe that doesn't exist. Anyway, she'd write the letter and stamp it and send it out. And then a few days later, it'd show up back in her mailbox marked address unknown. I'd open the letters before she figured out they'd been sent back. Once I had the letter, I'd go around to a couple stores with some money I'd saved up over the year and buy her the stuff she'd asked for. It took a lot of saving, but I managed to buy her presents every year.
Junpei was silent. He could think of nothing to say.
Huh.
Jun looked down, uncomfortable. The wall next to him suddenly groaned. Either he hadn't heard the sound or didn't care. Santa kept talking.
But one year, her letter was different. She didn't write a list of toys she wanted or anything like that. Instead, it said, I don't want any presents this year. Instead, I want you to make my wish come true. My wish is that we'll be happy like this for a really, really long time. That was it. Nothing else. But I couldn't make that wish come true. Some Santa I am.
Santa looked sad. Junpei had never seen him look sad before. He wasn't sure he liked it. Junpei decided it was probably best not to ask Santa any more questions. But
What happened?
June glanced up at Santa quickly as she spoke. He answered, but only with an effort.
She died. She was killed 9 years ago.
Oh.
There was nothing Junpei could say. His heart felt like a great lump of lead. June bit her lip and looked away. Her face was pale.
All right, let's go.
Santa stood up suddenly, his downcast demeanor gone. He shoved the picture back in his pocket and headed back up the stairs, taking them 2 at a time.
Huh?
Nyuma. Let's do this!
The worst room in the
Welcome
game.
to the worst room in the game. Again.
You remember the puzzle? Because I sure don't.
I think I might be able to help you remember what the puzzle was for the pins.
I remember a little bit about the Sudoku.
It wasn't really Sudoku, but...
Good news, there is a non-zero chance that we don't even have to do those puzzles, because the big lock is related to the crates.
Yeah, I'm pretty
not
sure.
the crate puzzle, the one that we unlock with the cards, I mean.
Well, technically, we could just skip ahead right now, but we shouldn't because this is important.
Where are all the cards again?
The last card, if you... All the cards are in the boxes, except for the last one, which is at the,
They're in
blue
the
ones.
boxes or the bags, and then Lotus is found by examining the 9 boxes themselves.
Okay, so it wasn't that. Ah, there we go. Oh my god.
Okay, there's 7 of them.
Did you check the bag then?
There we go.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, slow down.
Now we finally have all 9 picture cards.
Just then, Junpei heard a noise. He spun around just in time to see June collapse in front of the fence.
Hey! June, are you okay?
She did not respond. Junpei spun back around to face Ace.
I'm sorry, I gotta go check on her. You finished the box thing, alright? Just put the cards in the boxes. I'm counting on you!
He shoved the cards into Ace's hands and ran off toward June.
Are you alright? What happened?
Junpei called out to her as he ran.
Can you stand?
As he arrived, June was climbing to her feet with Santa's help.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fine. I just tripped.
Don't give me that. Now is not the time.
But it's true. I tripped over a box.
Just let me see for a sec.
June put his palm on her forehead.
Huh.
You're still warm.
Her temperature was much the same as it had been the last time he'd checked. She wasn't hot like she'd been before, but she was still warm. Her fever wasn't completely gone.
I saw her fall. I think she really did just trip on something, you know?
Junpei would have been more willing to agree if June hadn't needed quite so much help standing up.
Still, to fall down like that? I think she's probably still a little messed up.
June was doing her best to busy herself brushing dust off of her dress. Her smile looked a little embarrassed and her face was a bit flushed, but she did look a great deal better than she had. Still.
Alright, well, let's just get out of here as fast as we can so we can get you to a hospital.
Oh, I don't think it's anything that serious. I just need a little medicine and some sleep, and I'll be fine.
Medicine? Medicine, huh?
Oh no, does this remind you of something?
Well, if we could get in touch with anyone outside, I'll bet Ace could swing that for you easy.
Ace? Why?
Huh? Don't you know? He's the president of a pharmaceutical company.
Oh! Gee, I wonder which one.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals is the name, I think.
Oh,
Flagship product is
gee.
an anesthetic drug called Soparil.
Soparil. Soparil. I've heard of that before somewhere.
I
Junpei
think
couldn't
we all
shake the
could use
feeling
Soparil.
that he'd heard about Soparil before. Santa continued.
Soparil. It's an anesthetic that's a gas at room temperature. A lot like how nitrous oxide is. It takes only a few seconds to spread, and even a small amount is very effective. A bunch of countries quickly accepted it for widespread use within their police and military forces. It was an effective crowd suppressant and room clearer. It was practical, ethical, and the humane nature of it made it the ideal drug. It's been around for about 6 years. They developed it from the extracts of several different roots. It became popular almost as soon as it was made public, with many governments placing large orders.
So this was 3 years after the experiments with the kids.
Demand for Soparil skyrocketed, and of course that meant Cradle Pharmaceuticals' stock did too.
Why do you know all of this?
Santa's information was interesting, but Junpei couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. Santa's reply was blunt and simple.
I heard it from the old man himself.
From Ace? When?
By the number 4 door at the central stairway, when we were searching the second-class room. Remember how Snake, Seven, and you went to door 5? It was back then. I asked him what he did for a living, and he said he ran his own company. After that, we just started talking, and I guess it just came up, you know?
Huh.
Are you worried about something?
No, nothing.
As he spoke, Junpei looked over toward Ace. He seemed to be having difficulty with the 9 boxes. What the fuck, Ace? It's not hard.
What the hell is he doing?
He is tripping ball.
He turned back to June and Santa.
June, don't push yourself, all right?
Yes.
Santa, could you take care of her? I'll go check on Ace. Looks like he's having trouble.
Sure.
He gave them both a short nod, then turned and headed toward Ace.
What are you doing?
Ace's back was to him as Junpei approached. The older man turned around to look at him. His face was pale and covered in sweat.
What happened?
Nothing. My vision has gotten rather blurry, I think, because of fatigue. I can't see very well at the moment.
What can't you see well?
These pictures.
Ace held the cards out to Junpei, splayed out in the shape of a fan.
I don't care to admit it, but I may be developing presbyopia. Growing old is a difficult thing.
He made the best attempt he could at a self-deprecating smile, but his face was flushed and his lips were pale and drawn.
At any rate, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm feeling awfully tired, so if you don't mind, I'd like to rest for a bit.
He shoved the cards into Junpei's hands and walked quickly away. Junpei looked at him quizzically.
How could simply looking at cards have tired him out?
I don't know. Simply talking tires me out almost all the time.
Junpei looked down at the cards in his hands. All the pictures were quite clear, and each person easily recognizable. Was Ace's vision truly so bad?
But if it wasn't, what had made him so uncomfortable?
Hello, Cat. Freaking lean back to relax for a moment.
And that's why he's uncomfortable. That was when Junpei remembered what he'd heard from Lotus much earlier.
Prosopagnosia. Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces. In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours, so they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other. That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to.
Or that.
Maybe he's got prosopagnosia?
Junpei took another look at Ace. He sat at the base of the stairs, looking quite depressed.
Well, he looks depressed enough to have it.
If he really did have prosopagnosia, there was no doubt it was a depressing and painful experience. Still, Junpei didn't feel like patting him on the shoulder and telling him everything would be all right would help that much. Still, Junpei felt perhaps it was best to keep Ace's condition to himself, at least for the time being.
Oh well.
Doing his best to clear his mind for the task at hand, he turned back toward the boxes.
Time to solve the 9 boxes puzzle.
I believe you can start skipping again now.
Do we still have to solve the entire room?
Check the flow chart after this scene is done. Alright, you can just jump to the end now.
Okay, so just jump right here?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's now unlocked.
Just check the flow chart real quick now that you're here. Also, press RB.
Look, it's...
RB button.
I know!
Okay, we're good.
It wasn't allowing me to.
Seven and Lotus.
They didn't look happy.
We've got a problem.
Oh, we saw this bit. Let's see, Clover is gone.
As a heads up, we are not going to be going into any more doors for obvious reasons, but we are about to enter a lot of cutscenes. We may end up having a slightly larger than usual stream.
I'm fine with that because I have no work tomorrow because I have President's Day off.
Same.
Several cutscenes will play in sequence. Please assure that you
Oh,
set
no.
aside sufficient time. Junpei and June ran to the large hospital room together. As quickly as they could, they searched around and under the beds and in the corners.
She's not here.
No, she isn't.
Alright, just in case, we should go take a look in the shower room.
Shower room?
That's where her brother is. She might have gone to see him.
June bit her lip. She knew, as Junpei did, that there was only one thing to see in the shower room, and it wasn't pleasant.
Well, we might as well check, right? Let's go.
There was a screwdriver stuck between the door and the frame.
Good. We can still get in.
We should thank Seven later.
Junpei and June slipped through the door, moved down the hallway, and stepped into the shower room.
No luck.
Yeah, I don't think she's here.
June's voice was faint, and she placed her hands over her mouth. Her face looked a little green.
The smell is horrible.
The stench in the room was almost unbearable. It had grown far more unpleasant since their last visit. Junpei had eaten a lunch, he would have had difficulty retaining it. He wanted to leave the room as soon as possible, but he had to be sure. The only way to be sure was to check the other side of the divider.
Let's check the back, just to be sure.
June offered no resistance and nodded weakly to Junpei as he headed around the divider. He stopped at the corner and turned his head.
No, she's not here.
As he had expected, Clover was nowhere to be seen. The only thing on the other side of the divider was a dead body lying in a reddish-brown puddle of dry and drying blood.
Snake, just where did your sister go?
Junpei whispered to what once was Snake. He'd asked rhetorically, of course, as there was no way he'd get an answer. He gave a deep sigh.
Such a horrible way to go. The skull shattered, the left arm's hideously twisted. Huh? Wait.
The bright white of the ulna was clearly visible through the remains of skin and muscle. Bright white. Ulna.
Bones.
So the thing I noticed is the first time we saw this body is finally falling into place. The pieces fell
As
into
Kronk
place.
once said, oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Junpei remembered something Clover had told him in the laboratory.
My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. The accident hurt him really bad.
Of course. Of course. Why didn't I realize it earlier?
I don't know. Why didn't ya? Clover had told Junpei that Snake's left arm was prosthetic, but the left arm of the corpse behind the divider was quite clearly a real human arm, or at least it had been once. That meant the corpse.
Jumpy?
June's unsure voice at Junpei's suddenly strange behavior drew his attention back to her.
Oh, sorry for making you wait.
Junpei and June headed back toward the large hospital room. They stepped through the door and out of the shower room. Down the hallway they went, searching for Clover in every corner. They had reached the stairs when Seven appeared, breathless and yelling.
Junpei! June! Where were you guys?
He looked pale and his face was drawn. Something terrible had happened. Junpei's breath caught in his throat.
Did something happen?
Seven drew a shaking hand across his face and gulped down a breath of air.
Clover is dead.
Really?
What?
Not who I expected.
I found her in the first-class bathroom.
Now I'm wondering if Snake has been the one killing everyone in every ending except for the one where Clover used an axe.
Why would he kill his own sister?
And that's a good question. All sound ceased for Junpei. The world was an empty, muffled expanse. Then he began to hear his own breathing. June's mouth moved, but he heard nothing. She tried once more, and then her energy was gone and she collapsed against the wall. He could have helped her, but he hadn't, and now she was dead. So he stood there, frozen in place.
Clover. Clover. Why? Why did this happen?
He forced his body to move. Every step felt like another nail pounded into his heart. Finally, he was in front of her. He knelt and placed 3 fingers against Clover's neck. No pulse, no breath. But she was still warm, and her eyes were closed peacefully. It would have been easy to think she was asleep. Easy, that is, were it not for the slowly expanding puddle of blood beneath her. He traced its source to her back. A gash just beneath her shoulder blade. Was the weapon a knife, perhaps? It was a knife. The killer had taken it when they left. When he closed his eyes, he saw Clover smile.
Clover!
Her innocent smile. Her energy. He would never see her smile again.
No way.
He could have done something. He could have helped her. His stomach twisted itself into a sickening knot.
Let's get out of here, June.
Junpei lifted June from the floor and carried her from the bathroom.
Are you all right?
It was a foolish question, and he knew it.
Yes, I think so.
Her voice was weak. The fever had gone down, but the emotional scars she'd received were not likely to recede as quickly. Junpei laid his hand on her shoulder, and they walked back to the bedroom.
You should get some rest. Here, the bed. Can you sit?
Yes.
She nodded once and stared at the floor. There were 4 others in the room. Ace, Lotus, Santa, and Seven. They all stared at nothing, their faces drawn and tired. After a while, they drifted into the bathroom to see Clover's corpse themselves. Once everyone was back in the bedroom, Junpei walked slowly to the center of it and looked around as the slumped figures gathered there.
Who was the first to find the body?
Me.
Seven spoke from behind Junpei. He turned around. Seven's hand was up.
Why did you come to this room?
To look for Clover. Why else? I found her body in the bathroom. As soon as I did, I ran outside. I got to the top of the stairs by the casino and yelled as loud as I could. Hey, guys! I found her, but it's bad! She's in the bathroom in the first-class cabin! Come quick! Or something like that. Then I went back to the bathroom. Ace, Santa, and Lotus showed up real soon after that. But I guess you two hadn't heard me or something because you didn't show. So I took off down the stairs to look for you. After that, I mean, you know the rest, right?
Junpei nodded and closed his eyes. There was one more thing he needed to ask.
Seven, there's one more thing I'm worried about.
What?
You stuck one of those plates in between the door and the frame, right? Why did you do that?
Come on, didn't I already tell you that? I did it so that the door wouldn't lock. So we could come back to this room? Oh. You think I did it?
Well, I don't know. That kind of depends on what you say, doesn't it?
For crying out loud.
Seven sighed and shook his head.
Follow me.
There were 2 doors standing next to one another. He opened the one on the right.
A closet?
Yeah.
Seven stepped inside. He stood in front of one of the shelves that filled it and gestured toward a small box. The box was a small metal cube. He looked at Junpei.
This is the reason. This safe. We couldn't open it when we were getting through this room. I figured there might be something pretty important in it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I figured eventually we might figure out what the numbers are for the safe. And if we did, I didn't want to screw around with door 5 again. So I put the plate in the exit door so we could get back in that way. You get it now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh?
I just want to say something real quick. So to get this ending, you have to go through this room, look at this box, and then after you finish the room, before you leave, you have to go out of your way to look at this box again.
Yeah, you remember you remember how I had you examine it before you left? This is why.
Huh.
And the game doesn't even have a lock for it.
Yeah,
wow, that's kind of bullshit.
It doesn't even have a lock applied.
There was a reason why I interfered in that room.
Yeah. Junpei nodded and looked at the safe. He grabbed the handle and shook it.
Figured it wouldn't open.
It was as locked as it had been when Seven found it. There's one change, however.
This is...
Just underneath the safe was a pile of reddish-brown powder.
Rust?
Junpei stared at it, considering.
If there's rust here, that means... Has someone opened the safe?
Junpei left the closet. Seven followed him back to the bedroom.
Huh?
It was cold and quiet. No one spoke. They sat, frozen in place by shock and grief and fatigue. The room felt tiny and oppressive, and the thick metallic smell of blood filled the room. Junpei turned and headed for the living room. Anything to get out of there.
Maybe there's another clue. Anything that might lead us to discover who stabbed Clover.
As quickly as they could, they searched around and under the beds and in the corners. His eyes caught on the door. The door that led to the passage of door number 5.
Behind this door. The ninth man's body is behind there. Maybe I should have another look at it, just in case.
Quietly, he pushed open the door.
Ugh.
The smell hit him like a blow to the face.
Oh, the hell? This smell is...
His lungs contracted, unwilling to inhale such fetid air. Acid boiled up from the base of his stomach, churning what little food there was into a violent froth. It was too much for him, and he vomited. A thin stream of yellow water and bile splattered onto the floor.
Oh God, why do they have to describe it?
Because that's how novels work.
He wiped his mouth weakly and stared at the dead body. Chunks of torn flesh lay in an arc around the body. What remained of its intestines had slid out onto the floor. The pool of blood that framed it was half dry, but so thick that it had taken on a texture not unlike that of an egg yolk prepared sunny side up. On the floor next to the
Thank you for ruining eggs.
I don't know what you're talking about. I still want eggs. Next to the broken mass of the man's head lay his glasses, cracks spidering around the lenses. The bloodstains near them had already dried like scabs on the floor.
Wait.
That was when he noticed.
It's gone. His bracelet. It's gone. It was right next to the glasses.
But now, it was gone. The number 9 bracelet was gone.
But why?
Had someone taken it? He was turning it over and over in his mind when he heard Seven's voice.
Huh? Where'd Junpei go?
It had drifted out to him from the living room. Junpei walked slowly out of the hallway.
Oh, there you are. Were you looking for something in the hallway?
Seven looked up as Junpei entered the room.
Yeah.
Did you find something?
More like what didn't I find? He thought for a moment before he responded.
No, nothing.
Technically, it wasn't a lie. He hadn't found anything. In a way, in fact, that was the problem. Something he'd expected to find hadn't been there. The ninth man's bracelet.
What's up?
Well, I wanted you to take a look at something.
What is it?
Seven led Junpei back to the bathroom.
Clover.
As Clover's corpse came into view, he felt his heart flip, and then fall to the bottom of his stomach. Something between a sigh and a groan escaped his lips.
What was it you wanted to show me?
His voice was hollow and empty. Let me guess, Clover's bracelet is missing.
I searched Clover's body again. A real shame. She was stabbed once in the back, probably by a knife or something. And I found this.
As he spoke, he moved around Clover's head, then knelt down and flipped open her right hand.
What?
She was holding a piece of paper.
I haven't actually looked at it yet, Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing.
What?
He wasn't sure what that meant, but it likely didn't matter. The paper was more important.
I'm opening it.
He picked it up and carefully opened it. There were 2 sentences written on it.
Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
I mean, that would be the left hand.
What is this? Some kind of secret code?
Junpei stepped away from Clover's body and into the living room. He began to pace, attempting to decode the note.
A code.
The first clue was likely the phrase sinister hand. Sinister hand means left hand.
Sinister was a term used in heraldry that meant to the left of the bearer of a coat of arms.
And Dexter was right.
Yep.
The left hand. What does the left hand mean?
Junpei looked at his own left arm. At the bracelet on his wrist.
Does the darkness of the sinister hand have something to do with the bracelet?
He examined the bracelet closely.
There's 2 things sticking out on either side of the face. The left and right sides of the face. Left and right. Left and right. Right and left. Truth is gone. Truth gone.
Truth gone. Maybe those 2 words.
These are important choices.
Truth had gone. Truth had gone.
Reading them backwards doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
What else could gone and truth mean? Truth, of course, means something that is correct, something that's fact. In other words, something that is right.
And
you
gone
could then
means
safely
left.
assume that gone means left. After all, after someone left, they were gone. But in this case, they clearly refer to their directional homonyms. Then truth equals right, and gone equals left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left?
No, right, left, right, left, right, left, right.
Oh.
Junpei looked at the bracelet
I am
again.
amazing.
Left and right of the bracelet. These 2 things sticking out. So if I...
Right, left, right, left. And then? Was I supposed to be paying attention to that?
Don't worry, it'll fix it for you.
One after another, 8 numbers flashed on, then off of the face of Junpei's bracelet.
Wait, did it just...
He checked one more time to be sure.
One, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
14, 38, 34, 21.
What are those numbers?
I'm going
Safe
to say this
code.
right now. I need someone else to keep track of this for me. As I've said
I got
before,
it.
I'm specifically bad at remembering strings of long numbers.
Thankfully, you aren't going to have to manually input it.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, anything... I would say 4 numbers in a row is my limit.
I'd say the same, too.
I think you don't have to manually input. Thankfully, Taze already got it for you.
Junpei
Yeah,
didn't
it's in
answer.
Twitch chat.
He couldn't answer. He had no idea what they were either. Besides, he was sure he would forget the numbers and the order they came in if he said anything.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Muttering the numbers to himself over and over, Junpei headed back to the bedroom.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 143-83421. 143-83421.
Before long, he found himself in front of the safe again. Its lock was the only device he could think of that required a sequence of numbers such as the one he'd just discovered. Besides, someone had opened the safe at least once already. Had Clover come to the bedroom to open it? Junpei slowly dialed in the numbers the bracelet had given him.
1 to the right, 4 to the left. And... oh.
Finished.
Bingo. I knew it was for this.
A small, telltale sound of a lock opening. He grabbed the handle, took a deep breath, and pulled it up.
Oh, is this some sort of note?
Inside was a piece of paper. It was roughly the same size as the one Clover had been holding.
Let's see.
Junpei picked it up. This is what it said. Fact number 1. The Nonary game was played once before, 9 years ago. Fact number 2. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. Fact number 3. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO. Gentaro Hongyu. So that's
Gentaro Hongo.
Okay, so that's Ace's real name. Cradle Pharmaceuticals Chief of Staff. Nagisa Nijisaki.
How much you want to bet that's Santa?
I was thinking Lotus, actually.
No, her last name was different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Kashiwabara is Lotus's last name.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals R&D Supervisor. Teraki Kubata. Majority shareholder in Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Kaga Chika Musashido. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved, I now state the truth. 0. Junpei left the closet. There were 5 people waiting for him in the bedroom. Ace, Lotus, Santa, Seven, and June. He looked at each one of them in turn and slowly placed his hands in the pockets of his vest.
Sorry, but do you think you could all come with me?
Come with you?
I want all of you to go to the big hospital room.
Why?
There's something I want to be sure of.
What do you want to be sure of?
I want to know if the person I suspect is really the culprit.
Wait, then you're saying...
Yeah, I think I've got it figured out. I know who killed Snake and Clover.
The atmosphere in the room changed. Grief was suddenly gone, replaced by attention like a strap of leather stretched to its limit. 5 sets of eyes stared at Junpei. He pretended not to notice.
Anyway, if you could all please move to the big hospital room. I'll explain everything as soon as we get there.
Then, almost as if on cue, the bell began to ring. They all heard it. It was the bell from the clock in the main staircase.
I will invoke the same request that I did when we went into door 3. We should all behave for this next scene, because it's going to get good.
It's 5 o'clock.
We've only got an hour left.
We don't have a lot of time left. Let's go.
Slowly, one by one, they followed Junpei out of the bedroom.
Actually, before we get started, I was hoping you could do something for me.
Junpei stopped in front of door number 3 and turned around.
Ace, Seven, and Lotus, could you please place your palms on the red?
Huh?
Why? If we need to get to the shower room, why don't we just...
No, we're not going inside. Once you've authenticated, step away from the door.
Why?
Please, just do it. Or perhaps you don't want to know who killed Snake and Clover.
Junpei's implication was clear, and Seven understood it perfectly.
Fine.
What about you, Ace? Lotus?
Very well.
Sure.
Quickly, they pressed their palms onto the red. Once they had finished, they stepped away from the door as Junpei had instructed. 3 asterisks shone from the red's display panel.
I have this idea. I don't think this device responds to a hand placed on it. It instead reacts to a bracelet being brought close. You don't actually need a hand.
Junpei approached it and held his bracelet over the scanner. He made quite sure he didn't place his palm on it, and instead only brought his bracelet near it. The fourth asterisk appeared.
I knew it.
Just as Junpei had expected. It was possible to authenticate without placing one's palm on the red, so long as the bracelet was brought near it. Junpei pulled the lever down. Door number 3 opened like a hungry mouth. 9 long seconds passed. And then the door shut, unfed. Junpei walked slowly back to the others, who were waiting some distance from the door, talking to one another. Santa and June had joined them as well.
Huh?
It looked as though they hadn't found a chance to break into the conversation yet. Let me guess. Ace took the number 9 bracelet and used it to put Santa through the door. Santa, Snake. As Junpei approached, they turned to look at him, curiosity playing on their faces. Before long, the other 3 did as well.
What was that about?
How should I know?
Clearly, they were all expecting some answers.
Thanks. I appreciate your cooperation.
Clearly, they'd hoped for something more forthcoming. He continued.
By the way, Ace, would you mind if I asked you something?
What is it?
Do you know who I am?
What? What kind of question?
Just answer it, please.
You're Junpei, of course. Who else would you be?
Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Actually, I'm Santa.
Well,
what?
Ace's voice was full of surprise, but it was also tinged with confusion and fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked to discover he was actually someone else. If he spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly continued.
The clothes I'm wearing, I borrowed from Junpei. And the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap.
That's ridiculous. Impossible.
So, you're saying I'm not Santa?
Of course you aren't.
Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa?
If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 19. 1 plus 9 would be 10. The digital route would be 1. But the 4 of us just opened door 3. You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet number isn't 3.
It's 5, right?
Only then, when it was too late, did Ace realize his mistake. He set his jaw and glared at Junpei.
You're exactly right. My bracelet number is 5.
As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist up to show everyone the bright red 5 on his wrist.
Sorry, Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was? Ridiculous. But I guess you couldn't see just how obvious it was. I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered. If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Most people wouldn't say something like that. The first thing that would come to anyone else's mind wouldn't be the bracelet number. There'd only be one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face. Ace, you have prosopagnosia. Am I right?
Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth. So did Ace.
Prosopagnosia?
The others looked confused.
What's that?
No clue.
Prosopagnosia is...
He heard Lotus begin to explain it to them. Ace glanced at them, then turned back towards Junpei and sighed.
Very well. I confess. I have prosopagnosia. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this was about? You want to mock me for my disorder?
No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No, the reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance the person who killed Snake has prosopagnosia.
Ace's face tightened, his eyes narrowed.
What do you mean?
Junpei leaned casually against the iron piping of one of the beds.
I'll just come right out with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him.
Junpei was suddenly very aware of 5 pairs of eyes on him. He had their undivided attention now. The room had grown very, very quiet. Junpei took a deep breath.
That's ridiculous. What possible evidence do you...
I have 3 pieces of evidence. The first, Think back to a few hours ago. You made us argue over the 3 doors here in the big hospital room. There was no way all 7 people could go through them. Lotus suggested that we sacrifice one of us.
Lotus looked away awkwardly. Junpei glanced at her and continued.
Then you, Ace, said, "I'll stay here." Why would you say something like that? It's pretty simple, really. You didn't want us to see the dead body in the shower room. You see? If Ace stayed behind, there were only 2 doors the rest of us could go through. Doors 7 and 8. There was no way we could get through door 3, the shower room. You knew that, didn't you, Ace? That's why you volunteered to stay behind.
Come on now, I think that's going a bit far. I can understand if you're jealous of my bravery, but please don't devalue my actions. I only wanted to save the rest of you. Surely you can understand my altruism.
Altruism, huh?
Junpei stared off into the darkness as something very interesting and lazily began to dig a persistent bit of wax out of his ear.
You already knew, didn't you? You knew that whichever doors we took, eventually we'd end up back in the big hospital room.
What on earth are you saying? Of course I didn't know that. How could I have?
Really?
Yes, yes.
Pleading was not something they'd heard from Ace before. Junpei pulled the piece of wax from his ear, glanced at it, and flicked it off into the darkness.
Oh well, that's cool. I've still got 2 more pieces of evidence that say you're the killer. The second is that, as I said earlier, you have prosopagnosia.
Then you mean to imply that a person who can't distinguish human faces must be a bad person? Junpei, they call that prejudice.
No, I am not that stupid.
Then why?
Well, before I explain, I suppose there's something I should tell you. The corpse in the shower room. It's not Snake's.
What?
Ace's face went pale. The others looked confused as well. If the body wasn't Snake's...
I didn't put it together right away, but there was something Clover told me. She said that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. He'd lost his real arm in an accident. But the body we saw in the shower room, let's call him Guy X. Guy X's left arm was definitely flesh and blood. In other words, Guy X couldn't possibly have been Snake.
Oh God. No. That's impossible.
Ace had started muttering deliriously to himself, shaking his head back and forth. Junpei was long past caring.
Let's say, hypothetically, that the killer didn't have prosopagnosia. If that were the case, he would immediately realize that Guy X wasn't Snake. Even if the clothes were the same as Snake's, their faces would be completely different. It would have been obvious they were different people. And yet, they still killed him. Why? Why would they kill a stranger who'd only just shown up? On the other hand, if the killer did have prosopagnosia, it makes sense. They thought Guy X was Snake and killed him.
Wait. Wait just a moment. Let's say you're right, and I mistook Guy X for Snake. Even if I did, I would have had no motive to kill him. Why would I want to kill Snake?
I can think of at least 2 motives. 1, Snake knew about your past. If he ever revealed what he knew, that would have been really bad for you. You really didn't want that to happen. So to make sure Snake's mouth stayed shut, you killed him. 2, Snake had a grudge against you. You knew that, or at least you could have easily assumed he did. Even without exposing your identity, he was a threat to you. You never knew when you might be attacked. You couldn't ever let your guard down. Every moment was a moment he might try something. You didn't want that kind of danger hanging over you. So you...
Hey, hold on a minute.
For the first time since the beginning of Junpei's explanation, someone besides Ace spoke.
What's the past that Ace wouldn't want us to know? Why did Snake have a grudge against him?
Look at this.
He handed Santa a small piece of paper.
What's this piece of paper?
Read it, dumbass. Santa squinted at the paper and began to read.
The Nonary game was played once before 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO Gentaro Hongo. What is this?
Slowly, Santa looked up from the paper. His eyes met Junpei's.
It's the message from Zero. It was in the safe in the first class cabin.
Then suddenly...
Give me a break!
Ace's face was red and shaking, and his voice was full of fury tinged with desperation.
That paper is a lie! Someone is trying to frame me!
Me. You said me, right?
Junpei's eyes narrowed, and the trap began to close. Ace inhaled sharply. His eyes flicked off of Junpei to something, anything else.
Wouldn't that mean You're admitting you're Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals? Or am I mistaken?
I mean, he just casually told Santa that earlier, so... It was as though a switch had been flipped. The color drained from Ace's face, and as he realized what he'd done, his eyes went wide.
Very well. I admit that much. I am certainly the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical, Gentaro Hongo. So what if I am? I don't know anything about this nonary game that supposedly took place 9 years ago.
During this whole scene, I'm just thinking back to how, like, jazzed I was about Ace and wanting to hang out with him.
Yeah, but also, is anyone else hearing that noise randomly? Like, it feels to me like a... How do I put this?
You mean from the backing track?
Yeah, like there's... That!
That? Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, that's part of the track.
Okay, because it feels to me like it's the game saying, you just did something, you just solved something.
No. It sounds like a puzzle complete sound, but no.
Everything on that scrap of paper is bullshit. Someone is trying to set me up, you see? First of all...
Ace stammered as he tried desperately to work himself to a more tenable position.
Junpei, you're claiming I did this all by myself.
Of course, in this route, we never got Seven's information, did we?
Nope.
Think that over, all right? How could I have killed Snake all by myself?
Not Snake. It was Guy X.
I don't care who it was. You said the killer put this other man into door 3, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Then I couldn't have possibly done that alone. I couldn't have opened door 3 with only myself and Guy X.
Nope. You could have.
Huh?
What?
Ace's face was tight and his teeth were clenched. Junpei fixed him with a level stare. The trap was about to close.
Actually, Ace, when you were unconscious, I took something from you. Remember when you were injected with that anesthetic and fell asleep in the big hospital room? Yeah, back then, I took this.
Junpei put his hand to his pocket.
No! You couldn't have!
Ace's right hand moved. Junpei smiled.
I got you, Ace. Your right hand there tells me all I needed to know. You want to tell me what you were so worried about? What's in your pocket? It's the number 9 bracelet, isn't it? Ace, Guy X, and the 9th man's bracelet. That was all you needed to open door 3. That's how you killed Guy X all by yourself, Ace. All you needed was the number 9 bracelet in your chest pocket.
Ace lowered his hand from where it had stopped halfway to his pocket. He looked down at the floor, his face hidden from Junpei. All he could see was the corner of Ace's mouth, twitching like a dying fish.
If you want to play innocent, that's fine by me. Go ahead. Tell me. I don't have the bracelet, if that's what you want to do. But if you could take off your coat and hand it to me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll have to take it from you by force. Right, Seven?
Yeah. It'd be my pleasure.
Seven, the MVP as usual.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Let's go.
Seven cracked his knuckles with a sound like gunfire. Oh, he's having his Ace Attorney breakdown moment.
Uh-oh.
Fucking damn Gant ass motherfucker.
Start clapping!
Ace roared with laughter. He threw his arms wide, his head back, and laughed, filling the room with a sound that scarcely belonged there.
Damn it, Discord, you filtered out my clapping.
Then it stopped.
Now my hands hurt for no reason. Fuck!
His arms came down and his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. His face was flat, devoid of any emotion.
Well done, Junpei. As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet. I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the Red. I left the room I was supposed to search and headed to the first-class cabin on B-deck.
His voice showed no emotion, no sign of remorse or interest. It was almost bored. as though he were reciting an especially dull corporate letter.
My purpose was to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the nonary game.
You know, that would make a lot of sense considering he's a CEO.
Adding 9 to any set of numbers won't alter the digital root.
That's something I noticed the other day. Because finding out the digital root, I mean, it's basically counting in base 9 and only taking the last digit.
As you can see, 9 is a very useful number here. With it, one can go anywhere, with anyone. It is, I suppose you could say, a game changer. So I made for the first-class cabin to obtain it. In mere moments, I successfully acquired the number 9 bracelet. There was also an unexpected bonus. The knife the 9th man had used. I quickly pocketed both of them and left. I made my way back to where I was expected to be.
Oh, right.
So then who killed Ace? And who killed Ace in the sub ending then?
So, given we are at this point in the story, I can now reveal Ace is the one who killed us in both the knife and sub ending. He was playing dead.
Oh.
That's when I ran into Snake. Well, this guy X, actually. I spotted him ahead of me. He was heading for the large hospital room and hadn't noticed me.
In fact,
the man wearing Snake's clothes arrived at door 3.
If you might have noticed, Ace's back was turned to us in that shot when we found him. He was the only one whose face we didn't see. Ironic.
When he stopped, I walked up behind him and called out, "Snake." He turned around. He said nothing. His mouth simply hung half open. He seemed dazed somehow, almost like a man half asleep. Perhaps he had been drugged. It wasn't important. I tend to gloss over little things like that. I was certain that man was Snake. I knew Snake had taken part in the nonary game 9 years ago. Being blind, it made sense that he didn't recognize me immediately upon our first meeting. But why then hadn't Snake said anything to me later? Surely he hadn't forgotten what had happened to him in the nonary game. But not once did he attempt to confront me. Did his lack of sight prevent him from fully recognizing who I was? Or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive me. Regardless, he was a threat, and it was better to deal with him sooner rather than later. I had to get rid of him before he took action. With quick thinking, my plan went into motion immediately. I held the number 9 bracelet over the red. I waved my own bracelet in front of the red, and then grabbed Snake's arm and shoved his hand against the scanner panel. The door opened. I threw the man through it. 9 seconds later, the door shut.
I just realized something. With Snake's left arm being a prosthetic, the left arm is the one where the bracelet is. He could take his bracelet off without dying.
Yeah.
81 seconds passed.
The man inside the door passed away.
After that, I returned to my post as though nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to the large hospital room when the 1 a.m. bell rang.
Ace's eyes were cold, and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace. He took a deep breath and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. He just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed, then spoke.
Ace, did you kill Clover?
Yes.
Why? Why did you kill her?
She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it.
Found what?
Why don't you go through door 1 yourself? Perhaps it's hidden somewhere.
Seven and Lotus interrupted.
Yeah, but Lotus and I went through door 1 too.
We didn't see anything suspicious.
Yes. I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the two of you could find it.
Huh?
But perhaps Clover was different. Perhaps she had found it. I was, therefore, desperate to find her. And at last I did, in the first-class cabin.
Let's see, what was beyond door number 1?
The man.
It was the navigator's room and the captain's quarters.
I spoke very calmly. Did you see it?
See what?
Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's quarters, weren't you?
Uh-huh. What are you talking about?
Very well. By the way, what are you doing here, Clover?
What? Nothing.
There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh. Did you go take a look at the 9th man's corpse? I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw something, didn't you? You saw that his bracelet was gone.
No!
Clover ran. She made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way.
You aren't going anywhere.
He caught her by the collar as she passed and threw her to the floor hard.
You're staying here.
No!
She leapt back up and darted past him into the hallway. Ace followed at a run.
Don't you run, little girl.
He was faster.
That was how I killed Clover.
His face hadn't changed. If he felt guilt or remorse or anything one might feel after taking the life of another human being, it didn't show.
You son of a bitch!
Seven's whole body trembled with rage, and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty, and Lotus and June's faces were distorted by anger and hatred. Ace looked at them and smiled. It was a cold, cruel thing with no humor in it. He shook his head and sighed.
I admit it. I've lost. I have lost. Completely and utterly. Don't misunderstand, Junpei.
Someone punch him already?
I lost to Zero. Not you.
Kill the son of a bitch!
Yes, Dragon Cat, please suplex him.
I'm rather
I
disgusted
would
with
love
myself
to
for falling
suplex
into
this
such a simple
motherfucker.
trap. I looked the fool. And it was a trap. Make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero. The man I killed in the shower room, if he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes. And that was no coincidence. He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me. And we can't forget the components that were removed from the red before we arrived. I have no doubt that Zero planned all of this. Zero made sure I would kill that man. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I would do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake. Everything.
Suddenly, Junpei remembered the paper he'd found in the safe. He remembered the last words Zero had written on it. I must punish them. For the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved. I now state the truth. And he remembered the other words. Words he'd heard from Clover.
I think Zero is one of us.
Huh?
One by one, Junpei looked at the 5 people standing in front of him. Ace, Santa, June, 7, Lotus.
Zero is one of us? No. Wait, there's one more person. Snake. The man who died in the shower room isn't Snake. That means he's almost certainly still alive. Maybe Snake is Zero. Maybe he made Guy X wear his clothes so that we don't think he was dead. Where's Snake now? What if he's off somewhere laughing at us? If he is Zero, he must have been lying to us about everything else. Is he watching us?
Well, I believe I've finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving?
He sounded as if he'd just finished doing nothing more exciting than describing the weather. For Santa, it was the last straw.
What the hell is this shit? You aren't going anywhere, you son of a bitch! We're gonna leave your ass here to rot!
Why? Because I killed Clover? That's ridiculous. Why are you so upset that I killed the little bitch? She was nothing to you. A stranger you only met a few hours ago. Am I wrong?
You bastard!
Seven roared and lifted a fist that would likely have shattered Ace's jaw. Someone else was faster. It was Lotus. She stepped toward Ace, raised a fist of her own, and drove it straight into his nose.
Blindsiding me with a punch, huh? You've got some fire, don't you? I confess, I rather like a tough woman.
He sniffed and wiped a small trickle of blood from his nose with a raised eyebrow.
Well, maybe you'd like another one then.
Before that, let me give you one of my own.
Huh?
Lotus scarcely had time to blink. Ace snaked his arms around her and pulled Lotus's back up against him. In the same motion, he reached into his coat pocket.
Oh, shit.
Ah, it's the gun. The revolver.
He's another man. Gun.
He tilted it to point at Lotus's head.
If any of you so much as blink, I won't hesitate to pull this trigger. I've already killed 3 people. Don't think I'm not ready to make it 4.
3 people? What do you mean?
Very well. Let me take this opportunity to illuminate you. The person who killed the 9th man was me. Although I suppose, to be more accurate, I encouraged him to get himself killed. While we were examining the main staircase, he came to me and told me his name. I recognized it at once, so I gave him a little push. Just a little white lie. It seems the settings for the dead were altered. Now it only requires a single person to deactivate the detonator in the bracelet. Investigate what's beyond door 5. We'll meet again later. And with that...
Okay. Have a good one, guys. I'm going off ahead now. Well then.
Why is it stopping? God damn it! You lied! Open the door, please! I'm begging you! Help me! Please get me out of here! Get me out of here! Oh my god! There's no time left! Listen! I was lied to! He lied to me! He put me in here!
The 9th man's voice is very familiar, and I'm trying to put my finger on it.
Hang on.
I believe he is Cam Clark.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
It was him! He killed me! It was him!
Oh, who voices Cam? Who does? Oh wait, he
voices a lot of famous people. He's Liquid Snake in Metal Gear Solid. He's Kratos in Tales of Symphonia.
Yeah, I was.
He's Leonardo in the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoons.
Yeah, my mind immediately went to Kratos for Symphonia.
Yeah, he's honestly one of my favorite voice actors.
As I said before, in the Nonary game, the number 9 bracelet is of utmost importance. If I had allowed him to keep such a useful tool, he, or it, would have become a threat to me. As such, I decided that he should be eliminated early on. I wanted the number 9 bracelet. If I could manage to obtain it, I would be able to manipulate the game as I saw fit. I would be unable to acquire the bracelet unless its owner was dead. That's the second reason. Even setting aside his number, he would have been nothing but trouble for me. He was aware of my past. He knew what happened here 9 years ago. It was important that I eliminate him before he was able to disseminate this information. Lastly, I wished to conduct a simple test. A test to see if this Nonary game was serious, or a poor attempt at a joke. I needed to be quite sure.
What about the 9th man?
The 9th man, he told the 9th man the settings on the dead were changed. That means that he knew about the dead already.
Yeah, I'm guessing the 9th man was one of the other people mentioned in that note.
As such, I encouraged him to act against the rules so that I might observe the outcome.
Given that it didn't happen until they mentioned the name, I'm going to guess it's the investor and not another person at the company. Junpei glared at him.
I don't get your third motive. What the hell happened 9 years ago?
Didn't I say? The nonary game was played. I planned it out, and I conducted its execution.
Why? What on earth was it supposed to do?
I don't really think I have any obligation to tell you that.
Ace smirked. He was trying to provoke them, and it was working. Although Ace had paid very little attention to Lotus after catching her, the gun had never wavered from her temple. She looked quite pale, and when she spoke, her voice shook.
Hey! What's with this gun? Where did he get this?
Why don't you tell her, Santa?
Santa ground his teeth and glared at Ace.
On the other side of door 6, we found the gun in the coffin in the cargo room, right? Bastard must have grabbed it when we weren't looking.
Indeed I did. That was a pretty serious mistake, you know. Just saying you intended to leave it behind.
Ace laughed, a short, derisive snort, and gave Junpei a sickeningly pitying look.
Well, there isn't much time left. I'll be off then.
Well, where are you going?
Do I really need to explain? I had assumed it would be obvious. I have the number 9 bracelet, and now I have Lotus.
Isn't there a door with a 9 on it in the room that looked like a church? That's where you're going, isn't it?
And how do you know that?
Santa told me about it while we were looking for Clover.
I see. Well, you are correct. That is my destination. But now I must say goodbye to all of you. Ah, and please, don't forget my warning. Move and I'll pull the trigger. I don't need her alive to open the door, you know.
As he spoke, Ace began backing toward the door, practically dragging Lotus behind him. I mean, they can follow him, because the people that are left are 5, 6, and 7.
He's getting away!
But we can't risk it.
Oh shit, and Santa. Fuck. Junpei, Santa, June, and 7 stood, frozen. Ace had the face of a man gone mad. He had no doubt he would pull the trigger. Ace had reached the exit.
Now, Lotus, open the door for me if you would.
He forced Lotus to open it, then turned and addressed them once more.
Goodbye.
Then he stepped through the door. It fell shut. In the blink of an eye, they were gone.
Damn it!
As soon as Ace and Lotus were gone, Junpei and the others leapt for the door in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob, there was a noise behind him. He looked over his shoulder. June was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily.
Hey, June, what happened? Are you all right?
Santa ran to June and wrapped his arm around her before she could collapse all the way.
Jesus, you're burning up. Your fever's back. Are you okay?
June's fever had returned, again for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watery and her eyelids drooped. Her breath came in dry, shallow gasps.
I'm okay. Really, I'm fine. You should be worrying about Lotus.
She was breathing hard now, and she could barely summon the strength to talk.
But...
Junpei was torn. He couldn't leave June alone in the state she was in. But every moment they waited, Ace was farther away, Lotus's life in his hands. What was Junpei supposed to do? June's eyes drifted to Junpei's. She managed to muster a weak smile.
Jumpy, don't worry about me. I just need a little rest. I'll be fine. Don't you remember? I just needed to rest a little bit last time. So please, please save Lotus.
Think about what Ace has already done, Junpei. When he's got what he needs from Lotus, you really think he's just gonna let her walk away?
Damn it. You guys go on ahead. Soon as June starts feeling better, we'll follow you. Go!
Junpei looked at June.
Well, they're all dead.
She nodded once. She couldn't manage much more. But it was all the confirmation Junpei needed. His resolve was set.
All right. Come on, 7. We're going after Ace.
Hell yeah!
Santa, you take good care of June. I'm trusting you. Got it.
Santa nodded. Junpei turned, before he had a chance to change his mind, and started running toward the door. He could hear 7's heavy footsteps behind him.
Let's go!
Junpei and 7 exploded into the hallway, their feet pounding the metal floor as they ran.
You know, this would make a really good anime, too.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Summertime Rendering, where it does time loop shenanigans or alternate timelines.
God, I just want to watch that again. It was so good.
It's such a good anime.
It was good.
Had finally arrived at the church, exhausted and out of breath. As their lungs struggled to catch their breath, their eyes frantically scanned the room.
Where are they?
I don't see them.
You think they already went through?
He reached up to wipe a palm full of sweat from his brow.
Maybe.
Even as he spoke, Junpei was already on his way to the larger of the number 9 doors.
Let's check the red.
The display panel read vacant. He spun around and headed toward the smaller door. This read would tell him if Ace and Lotus had moved to another room.
Engaged. It's occupied.
That means Ace and Lotus went through here.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Junpei and Seven stepped away from the door. They retreated to the center of the room and began to talk.
What do we do now?
Yeah, what should we do? Well, the big door is still vacant, but...
The two of us can't do anything with it.
Yeah, not even counting how our digital route isn't 9.
Just then, as they were pondering what to do next, there was a noise. A noise like someone hitting a thick wooden panel.
What's that sound?
Santa? Or, no, not Santa. Snake?
Junpei looked up, surprised. Seven followed suit, his eyes jumping around the room, looking for the source of the sound.
It's coming from over there.
It wasn't long before they found the altar. Or more precisely, what was on it.
The coffin.
Yeah.
Let's open it.
How?
By force!
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, you never know till you try, right? The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
Who said that?
I forget. Anyway, we've got to try.
I'll be right back.
They grabbed hold of what purchase they could find and pulled.
Damn it!
See? Didn't I tell you? If you could just pull it open, why would it have something like that?
Seven pointed at a keypad on the side of the coffin.
So unless I put in the right passcode, it's not gonna open.
The noise hadn't stopped. In fact, as it continued, it had only gotten louder and more forceful. What were they supposed to do, Junpei wondered.
Was there some sort of clue somewhere?
They stood there for a few moments, staring at the coffin, and then Seven spoke.
Hey, Junpei. I remember you mumbling about some weird numbers over by the bathroom in the first-class cabin. You got those numbers by solving the secret message Clover was holding, right? Truth had gone, or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. What about it?
Well, maybe that number's the passcode for this thing, too.
Come on, that's impossible. Those numbers were the code to unlock that safe.
Yeah, but the person who set up that safe in this coffin is the same person, right? Zero set up both of these.
Yeah, probably.
Well, then they might have set the same passcode for both of them.
That's ridiculous.
Why don't you just
Okay,
try
I'm
it?
back. I think my cat managed to get his collar stuck in his mouth a bit.
There's no way they're the same number.
How do you know that? You never know until you try. The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
I don't know how. I don't know how that happened, but by the time I got up there, it looks like he'd managed to get it to take care of it himself. So he looks to be fine, if a little grumpy.
Who said that?
You.
Fine.
He knelt down in front of the keypad and looked at it. Perhaps because he repeated them so many times before, the numbers came easily to Junpei's mind.
1438 3421.
Quickly, he typed them in. He checked that he'd entered the right numbers, took a deep breath, and pressed the E button. It only took a moment.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
There was a click. Of course, here's the question. Where did Clover get that riddle? And with a heavy clunk, the lid of the coffin slid off onto the floor. Someone sat up from inside.
Santa, looking very naked. Oh, Snake, look. God damn! I keep mixing them up.
You? Why?
Ah, those voices. Junpei and Seven, unless I'm mistaken. Where are the others? Are they elsewhere?
Is Snake a vampire? Of course, there was no reason Snake would have known anything about where anyone else would be. Junpei and Seven looked at one another. There was a great deal he needed to know, but... They had to tell him something, however, so they began to talk. Snake explained to them how he came to be locked in the coffin. Apparently, he'd been hit with some sort of knockout gas, and Junpei and Seven explained what had happened to the rest of them.
I see. I believe I got the gist of everything.
Let's see. What is that symbol on his chest? It looks a bit like the one that they called the lotus symbol, which...
It's not related.
It is not related, and we won't have it brought up at all in this game, actually.
Okay. Well, it looks very similar to that crossed with the sun symbol. I believe I got the gist of it. Oh, right. Mercury, wasn't it?
Have I been sufficiently caught up?
No, there was one thing they kept from him. There was one thing, however, that neither Seven nor Junpei could bring themselves to say. That Ace had killed Clover. They feared that if Snake knew, he might well go insane.
Yeah.
They decided as much by a look at the moment Snake had climbed out of the coffin.
But that still doesn't explain why you were trapped in here.
We've still got no clue about Zero's true identity, let alone why the hell he's doing all this. Why did he put Guy X in Snake's clothes? Is all this stuff somehow related to that notary game that was played 9 years ago?
Hey, Snake, do you know anything?
Junpei put the question to Snake. His answer was less than illuminating.
What are you talking about? I apologize, but I have no idea what you're saying.
Seemed as though Snake was perhaps not being entirely honest, but that knowledge did Junpei and Seven little good.
Oh, come on, just tell us if you know.
I don't know what to tell you. How can I know something I don't?
No matter how many times they'd asked, he insisted that he knew nothing. It was becoming clear that Snake wouldn't give in, and every second they spent asking him was a second wasted.
This is bad. We're running out of time.
We need to go after Ace.
However, they stood in silence, the overpowering atmosphere of the chapel almost stifling. Junpei, Seven, and Snake simply stood at a loss for what they should do next.
What do we do now?
He glanced over at Snake's wrist. Sure enough, he could see the 2 on the bracelet on Snake's wrist.
The 3 of us can't make a digital route of 9.
Wait, so there's 2 number 2 bracelets? Because Guy X had one too.
Yeah,
Yep.
we just get 5.
We're stuck here then.
Oh. Hey, I just remembered something.
Snake began patting his pockets as if he were checking to see if any of them held anything.
What? What is it?
Did he take Clover's bracelet?
I found something earlier.
What did you find?
This.
He finally found the pocket he wanted, and his hand dove into it. Seven pulled out something round and metal. A bracelet. There was no mistaking the number glowing at them from the face like a cartoon eye.
0. Zero's bracelet.
What did you say? Are you saying that 7 has the number 0 bracelet?
Be right back.
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Snake's question was innocent enough, but if he learned the truth, if he'd been able to see, he would have noticed Seven look away.
Clover gave it to me.
She did?
Yeah.
How did she come by it?
Well, she found it. See, on the other side of door 1, A deck, the captain's quarters. She asked me to hold on to it because it was too big and bulky for her to be lugging around.
He's lying.
Junpei could tell right away that Seven wasn't telling the truth.
He even told us earlier.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing.
He probably said that so Snake doesn't find out about Clover.
All right, Junpei. Been nice knowing you.
Wait, what?
Come on, man. I'm just kidding. Still, just in case, I want to make sure the 0 bracelet gets picked up by the Red. Snake, give me a hand, all right?
Without waiting for a response, he started walking toward the door. Junpei and Snake followed him quietly. Before long, they found themselves in front of the larger of the two doors. Seven and Snake put their palms on the red. Once they'd done that, Seven put the number 0 bracelet on the scanner panel as well. A third asterisk appeared on the screen. Now they just needed to pull the lever and the door would open.
Huh? Why isn't it opening?
Well, the third asterisk lit up, so it must have registered the 0 bracelet.
Maybe it isn't actually 0. Huh?
What?
That bracelet may not actually produce the number 0 when scanned. That is what I'm saying. Why don't we try a few different combinations? Perhaps we can determine what number that bracelet actually contains.
Oh, got it!
Junpei nodded. So I had to use the following combination.
There is a correct answer. I don't know if you can actually choose the others without fucking up, but good luck.
You can't soft lock at this point.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no way to know. So let's see. Snake and Junpei and the bracelet. That would make that a 2. Junpei plus 7 plus the bracelet. That would make it a 4. Or no.
And
no, that would make it a 6. So we're going 2, 6, or 4. I'm gonna go with 4.
Let's try all 3 of us and the bracelet. If this combination works, then the number for this bracelet is 4.
It didn't open.
Then this bracelet is not 4.
Then...
Okay. Let's try
Snake, me, and the bracelet. If this combination works, then the number for this bracelet is 2.
Nope.
The door didn't open. Mysterious bracelet wasn't 2.
open.
Guess it's not 2.
Then... let's try me, 7, and the bracelet. If this combination works, then the number for this bracelet is 6.
They scan in their bracelets.
It opened.
Yes, so it would seem.
7 clearly hadn't thought their experimentation would produce anything useful and looked rather confused.
Does that mean June is 0?
Snake was, as usual, calm and smug. The door slid closed. Junpei's forehead furrowed as he thought.
That means the bracelet is actually 6. But how is that possible? The display on the bracelet clearly shows a 0.
Suddenly, from somewhere far beneath them, they heard the creak and groan of tearing metal. With it came the sound of water pouring into parts of the ship that had, until recently, been dry.
Oh man, that's not good. I guess our time's just about up, huh?
At any rate, we know now that the door can be opened. Let's go!
But, Snake, are you sure?
Yeah. You know that only Junpei and I can go through this way.
You needn't worry. I have a solution to this problem. My last resort. But if now is not the time for last resorts, then when?
Last?
Resort?
He's gonna take off his arm. Arm come off.
What about Santa and June, though?
I mean, there'd be the question of them getting here in time, just in general. Junpei, 7, and Snake ran full tilt down a long, straight hallway. They were headed for the stern of the ship and had no time for distractions. As they ran, 7 spoke.
Gotta admit, you really surprised me there, kid. I couldn't figure out how the hell you were gonna get out of that one. How come you didn't do that right off the bat?
As I told you, it was a last resort. Had I used it at the beginning of the game, I would have come under a great deal of suspicion. I imagine that most people would have taken it to mean that I was Zero. Once they'd convinced themselves of that, I wasn't optimistic about my chances of making it out of here alive, let alone unscathed. I felt it best to play my cards close to the chest, as it were. That way, if I were in a situation where there was nothing else I could do, I'd have a little trick up my sleeve. I'd just take my bracelet off.
Snake's plan had been simple but effective. He'd simply removed his bracelet. How? To Junpei. It looked as though Snake had simply crushed the bones of his hand until they were small enough to fit through the wristband. Of course, that would have been practically impossible, so how had he done it?
My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. It's fake. It's not a real arm.
Snake had slid the bracelet off and tossed it into the coffin.
I know this is kind of a weird thing to say, but I'm glad that's a fake arm.
You don't have to be afraid of the door if you don't got a bracelet.
You are correct.
He'd walked through the door easily without authenticating. He stepped out the other side, unscathed, and began running down the hall alongside Seven and Junpei. They kept running for a while longer and eventually came upon a set of stairs leading downward on the right side of the hallway. They stopped and peered down the staircase.
I think these stairs connect to the bottom deck.
Doesn't look like it's underwater.
They nodded quickly to one another and jogged down the stairs. It took only a few minutes to make their way to the bottom deck. There was a single hallway in front of them, at the end of which was a single door.
Let's go through that door.
Junpei threw it open. Inside was a massive iron gate. A plate was affixed to the top of it. It read Incinerator.
Incinerator?
Oh my. That doesn't sound very pleasant. Do you see a lever near the gate, perhaps?
Yeah, right over here.
How did you know that?
Well, I'd be happy to regale you with the story. I imagine it should only take half a day or so.
Junpei grumbled, gave Snake a dirty look, and jogged over to the lever.
If you pull it, the door ought to open.
Got it.
He pulled the lever down. With the rumble of an ancient motor, the door opened. There was no need to hold back, and no time to hesitate. They pushed their way inside. That seems ill-advised. Standing in front of them were Ace and Lotus. Ace still held the revolver in his hand. It was still pressed hard against Lotus's temple. A small dark bruise had begun to form near the tip. Even from several yards away, Junpei could see that Lotus was shaking. She was terrified, but perhaps more interesting was what Junpei saw behind them. 9. Another number 9 door.
What? Why is there another one?
The door stopped Junpei in his tracks. It simply shouldn't have been there. As his brain finally began to consider why, the whine of a warning klaxon filled the air, drowning out any thought.
Warning. Warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 9 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately.
Oh my, how exciting. You've run quite a show here, Zero.
A terrifying smile twisted Ace's face.
What's the matter? Too frightened to understand? Here, let me explain.
It's said that the incineration system is about to activate. In 9 minutes, this room will be engulfed in flame.
Who are you?
You don't recognize me? I'm hurt. It's me, Snake.
Snake? Oh yes, you are alive. I'm afraid your bizarre style had me confused. I'm quite glad to see that you're alive.
Ace's voice didn't change. Snake ground his teeth.
If you don't mind my asking, how did you get here? Snake, Junpei, 7. The 3 of you couldn't have opened a door with a 9. Did you use Clover's bracelet, perhaps?
What?
Ah, well, your reaction suggests that you did not.
Hold on. Why did you think we'd have Clover's bracelet?
Junpei felt his chest tighten.
Oh, they haven't told you?
Told me what?
Clearly not. Normally I would take some time and enjoy the moment. But I'm afraid my time is at a premium just now. I'll have to make this quick. Clover.
Don't do it, Ace! Keep your goddamn mouth shut!
Clover.
I said stop it! Don't listen to him, Snake!
Junpei could feel his voice going hoarse, but Snake didn't listen to him.
What happened to Clover?
Ace looked at him. The corner of his mouth curled into the hook of a cruel smile.
Clover died.
The color left Snake's face. He shook his head weakly.
No, that's not true. That's impossible. It's a lie. It has to be a lie.
Oh, it's quite true. I can assure you of that. I killed her myself, you see.
What?
I'm sorry, did I stutter?
That's the
Oh,
first
whoa,
time
it's weird.
Yeah, that's the first time we see his eyes.
You can sort of tell that they're grayed out.
Snake's face twisted into a mask of rage, mottled red rising to dot his pale skin. His entire body shook. He looked to Junpei disturbingly like a demon.
I would have rather she died with less suffering. A bullet in her brain, perhaps, would have been ideal. Unfortunately, that would have made quite a bit of noise. Circumstances being what they were, I was forced to settle for the knife. The one the ninth man had, you remember. I believe I caught her just below the shoulder blade. I was rather lucky, in fact. My first thrust went right between her ribs. Her flesh was so soft. My knife slid in so easily. There was no resistance. That feeling.
Jesus fuck.
I confess, I feel rather excited. It is a powerful memory. Someday, perhaps.
I can't wait to punch this motherfucker in the face.
Incineration will begin in 7 minutes.
I'm going to kill you.
Snake's words were a guttural growl, barely audible.
What was that?
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Ah, so you're going to kill me. Please do. Come now. I'm waiting.
Don't do it! Don't listen to him, Snake!
Stop it, kid. He's screwing with your head.
Is there a problem? What are you waiting for, boy? Don't you want me to send you to join your sister?
Don't! The Snake!
Don't do it!
Just tell him he has a gun to Lotus's head! Oh my god!
Snake could no longer hear anything. Snake moved like a bolt of lightning. His scream echoed through the incineration chamber, full of rage and despair.
Snake! Snake!
Snake!
Another scream filled the room. It was Lotus. She ran across the room towards Junpei, her eyes wide with terror.
Lotus! Hurry! This way!
Snake's ill-fated attack had loosened Ace's grip on her, and she'd made a run for it. She reached Seven and Junpei and ducked behind them.
Incineration will begin in 5 minutes.
Give me the woman.
He raised the gun.
I need her. Without her bracelet, I will be unable to open this door. Quickly now! I don't have time for your shenanigans.
In the center of the room, Snake's body lay eerily still. He looked like a human larva, prone and vulnerable on the floor.
I see. Then it would seem I have no choice. The rest of you must die as well. Fortunately, I have 5 bullets left. 1 for Junpei, another for Lotus, and the last 3 for that lump of idiotic man you call Seven. I will take Lotus's body with me and leave this room.
Incineration will begin in 4 minutes.
Well, it looks as though our time together is at an end. I rather enjoyed playing with you.
Damn it!
Junpei could see Ace's finger tighten. He could see it begin to squeeze down on the trigger. His body tensed, preparing for the catastrophic impact of hot lead against human flesh.
Goodbye.
Then it happened.
Kill you!
Snake stood up.
What? No, that's impossible.
For the first time, Ace's composure broke. With obvious effort, Snake lunged forward, one step closer to Ace, then another. He looked for all the world like a zombie.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
His voice was the mournful wailing of the undead.
Stay away from me. Get back. Stop. If you come any closer, I'll get away from me.
Little by little, Ace was retreating. Snake didn't stop. He continued his stiff, inexorable approach, his eyes twin pools of pure fury.
Listen to me! I said, don't come any closer! Shit! You bastard!
Ace's revolver leapt 5 times. 5 times the air in the incinerator was split by the crack of a bullet. Snake's body twitched as 5 clouds of blood and torn flesh leapt into the air across his body.
God. Everyone's eardrums must be just tatters of flesh by now.
I know, right?
Guns are fucking loud, and they fired 6 times in an enclosed chamber.
Enclosed metal chamber. It must echo like crazy.
Yeah.
A fine pink mist drifted from his body and disappeared. Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before. And then his strength was gone. His legs crumbled and his broken and battered body slid to the floor.
Incineration will begin in 3 minutes.
Finally, you're...
But Snake wasn't done.
I'll kill you.
Even
The fuck is he still alive?
Spite. Even as the pool of blood beneath him grew, he began to move. He half crawled, half slid toward Ace. One bloody arm wrapped itself around Ace's leg.
You won't get away.
And the other gripped his thigh with strength that should have been long gone.
You son of a bitch! You're a monster! Get off me! Let me go, damn you!
He kicked at Snake with his free leg, driving his foot into Snake's face, his arm, his shoulder. It made no difference. Snake refused to release him. Once a snake has ensnared its prey, rarely does it release it.
This is it, Ace. We're going to burn to death together.
What?
I gotta say, big props to Taliesin Jaff for this. He sounds great.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah, damn it! Damn you! Get off! Let me go, you monster! Okay, look. Think about it this way. My company owns a wonderful hospital. It has excellent doctors. You're not wounded too seriously. I'm sure they can fix you up easily.
You shot him 5 times. No, 6 times.
6,
You
actually.
don't have to die.
6.
You could be saved. Just let me go.
Like, my man is on like negative 20 HP at the moment.
Pathetic. Begging for your life.
But still, he is sitting here casting Meteor.
Motherfuckers has the balls of steel just like Galoof does in Final Fantasy V.
Or Tella.
Motherfucker tanks S7's like, fuck you, I'm going down swinging.
Yep, the trope's so good they did it twice.
Indeed.
Yep.
And Seven and Lotus began to speak. Junpei could hear tears in their voices, and their words were strained.
Snake, that's enough! You can stop now!
Yes! He's right, Snake! You've done enough!
Come on, Snake, let's go! Let's get out of here!
You have to come with us! We have to leave together!
Snake turned toward them. He coughed and blood splattered across the floor. Then he smiled, a sad sort of smile.
I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't do that. You'd best forget about me. You need to leave soon. I'm going to take him with me.
Shut up! Be quiet!
I couldn't save Clover. My sister died because of me. Perhaps this will begin to atone for that. Perhaps in the afterlife, she can forgive me. Now go. Go now.
You know, I suppose in a roundabout sort of way, Ace was also responsible for us getting killed in the ending where Clover killed us.
Yeah.
You have to go.
Incineration will begin in 1 minute.
God damn it! Shit! We're out of time! We gotta go!
Seven ran towards the exit. Lotus followed him. But Junpei couldn't move. There were white lines down Snake's cheek where his tears had washed the blood away. He was broken, body and soul, and Junpei felt as though half of his own heart had been torn out. His eyes stung, and he tried desperately to swallow the clear lump in his throat.
Junpei, what are you doing? You have to get out of here now!
Junpei's chest tightened, pulled taut by anger, misery, and a cold feeling of emptiness. Pure emotion surged through his heart, alongside the torrent of blood. He could feel it building, a tremendous wave growing taller and taller and taller. And then it broke, crashing down with thunderous force onto his shaken, unprepared mind.
Snake! Snake!
Junpei's rational mind was gone. He was driven by instinct now, and he launched himself across the floor at Snake and Ace. Or, he tried to.
Wait! Don't be an idiot, Junpei!
He felt a hand grab him from behind. It was Seven. Before he had time to react, the larger man had pinned Junpei's arms to his side and was hauling him bodily back toward the door.
No! No! I have to help Snake! 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 Get off of me! Let me go!
Incineration will begin in 10 seconds. 7, 6.
Damn it, I don't get a choice, kid! Don't blame me for this, alright?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Gates 2 and 3 are locked down, beginning incineration.
Junpei felt Seven's fist bury itself deep in his stomach, and then his legs turned to mush. Seven scooped him up in the same motion and leapt through the door. It slammed shut behind them. Junpei struggled to shaky feet. He glanced over to see Lotus only a short distance away. Junpei ran to the door.
He's...
There was a small window cut into it. Inside, he could see Ace and Snake.
Shit! Damn you all! Why? Why? Why me?
Because fuck you, that's why!
Deserve this!
The fuck you
yes,
talking about?
Yes, you do!
Answer me! Answer me, Zero! Why? Why? Zero! Zero!
Burn in hell, you bastard.
Oh, that is not a fun way to go.
No.
No, I have heard that is probably the worst way to go, actually. Well, one of the worst ways to go.
I don't even want to think about it.
Don't want to imagine the skin and
Do not.
fat
Don't
bubbling.
even go into it, man! No!
Taze, read the
Okay,
fucking
sorry,
room.
I'm sorry.
He didn't
It's
know how
okay.
much time had passed. He didn't know how long he stood there in front of the incinerator. He looked to the side. Lotus's face was ashen, and if not for the hand she'd put against the wall, Junpei didn't think she could have stood. Seven looked old and tired and used. His eyes stared at the floor, seeing nothing. Junpei said nothing. He simply began to walk toward the open door, and the hallway would come.
Oh my god, Dragon Cat!
Hey, wait! Junpei!
Oh, that's
Oh my
terrible,
god.
Dragon Cat.
What did he say?
And suddenly,
through
the
the
fires
fire-
and the flames plays through the loudspeaker before torching him.
Oh no!
Junpei, where are you going?
He blinked when their voices broke the silence. He stopped.
Oh, cool. It's a morning.
You stay here. I'll go get Santa and June.
In the
You're gonna
time
bring them
before
here?
How?
Don't worry
Oh,
about that.
boy.
Just stay here and wait, all right?
He began to walk
Flames
again.
and death. In flames of death's eternal rain, we ride towards the fight. Ugh.
He looked over his shoulder and watched Seven and Lotus grow smaller and smaller. They stared back, not moving. He wasn't sure if they could. He turned around again. He knew where he was going.
I saw an elevator on the way here. If I can get it to work, then maybe...
Before long, Junpei found himself in front of the elevator. Next to the door was a button with a triangle on it.
Please work.
He pushed it, and the door opened.
Yes.
Junpei was in the large hospital room.
June! Santa!
Yeah.
Okay, so think fuck. There's a way to go from the 9-doored back and backtrack.
Yeah. He kept calling and walked to the center of the room. Try as he might, he couldn't find them.
Damn it. Where did they go?
Increasingly frustrated and increasingly worried, Junpei left the large hospital room. He had no choice. He would have to look for them. Junpei's heart was heavy. He couldn't shake the feeling, but there was a part of him that felt it would be wrong to, even if he could. With every step he took, his legs felt more and more like lead. Sometime later, Junpei found himself at the chapel. He stepped inside, expecting to find nothing, but there, on the red carpet in the center of the room... Jude! No, codenames didn't matter any longer. She was Connie! Junpei cried her name and ran. Like lightning, he ran across the room toward her.
Connie!
He stumbled to a stop. She looked down at her body, lying so still on the floor, he felt the icy grip of fear upon his heart. She was still. So very still.
No. It can't be. It's impossible.
Slowly, Junpei bent down toward her. His hands shook, and he felt very cold and very hot at the same time. He forced himself to look. Her back. Her back was moving. Slowly, it rose and fell. Relief washed over him.
Connie!
Junpei reached down and gently, very gently, lifted her up.
Connie, are you all right?
Jumpy?
Her face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei, but saw nothing. Trembling, Junpei wrapped his arm around her back. She was cold, very cold. Junpei tried to convince himself that it was only his imagination, but she felt as though she were fading away. He could feel his heart pounding frantically in his chest. Are we gonna do this twice in the same session?
Oh man.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Connie.
Yep.
What the hell happened to you? You feel...
Jumpy, I'm sorry.
Her voice was very faint.
I might not make it.
No way. No way I am going to let you die. I am gonna save you. I promise.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you.
No.
Jumpy, really happy.
Oh, don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You've just gotta hang on. All right, Connie?
Jumpy, did you know you meant a lot to me?
This is the same dialogue, too!
It really is!
It is!
No, it is literally the same dialogue.
Junpei.
Yes, it
Can
is.
we hit skip?
Nope.
God damn it.
He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart, like a white-hot flame. He looked down at Akane. Okay, it's not as long this time. I was like, that was a long scene as they tacked this onto an already extremely long scene. There was a crack of static from above his head, and a voice spoke.
Zero. You son of a bitch! Where are you hiding?
Junpei frantically scanned the ceiling for the source of the voice.
What the hell are you talking about? No. No, it hasn't. I'm not gonna let it end yet. I'm gonna get out of here with Connie. Why? The wrong path?
Now go back into the flow menu and this time take the white path.
What are you talking about? I told you! I am not gonna lose! What?
Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before he heard the door slam shut behind him. He spun around. There was no one there. Was it Zero?
Connie, wait here. I'll be right back, I promise.
She managed a single nod. Junpei laid her back down gently and leapt for the door. He yanked it open and shot outside. No one. The hall was empty. There was nothing moving anywhere.
Damn it. Where are you? It doesn't matter. I need to get Connie out first.
He didn't want to leave Connie alone any longer than he had to, so Junpei turned around and headed back to the chapel.
Connie!
She wasn't there. She wasn't anywhere. She'd been lying there on the floor just moments before, and now she was gone.
Oh God. No. No. Where is she? Connie.
Junpei, are you going mad?
Connie! Connie! Connie!
His cry split the heavens themselves. He screamed until his voice gave out. Then he screamed some more. Also, where is Santa? But there was nothing. No answer. His voice faded away, and all that remained was cold, unfeeling silence. That was when he noticed it.
Huh?
A strange smell, one he'd smelled before.
Wait. This is...
The knockout gas? Soparil?
9 seconds later, Junpei's mind winked out.
Two endings in one stream. Congrats
Congratulations.
on getting the safe ending.
It's not very safe.
Okay. Now, here's the question. Are we ending for
Here we go.
This is different. Does this just play after you beat that ending?
Yes.
Yeah.
Normally, if I remember correctly, it does in other endings in the original.
It plays after this ending and another ending that we're not getting.
There are 2 slots left on there, but only one here.
I'll just straight up say it. The last ending is the true ending, but if you have not done this ending to get the true ending, you get cut off early, and it counts as a separate ending.
You get the separate ending logged if you get the true ending, by the way.
Okay, so I'll still get the achievement and all that, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, if you get the incomplete ending, you would get one of those CGs too that will show you how to get this path. Because like that ending showed you, that CG was like, here's the doors you go through to get to the true ending.
Huh.
So if you got the incomplete ending, it'll show you the doors to go through to get safe.
Now, you were asking if we would end it here. My answer is, do you want to keep going?
We cannot keep going.
Yeah, it's real late, dude.
Theoretically, I could. However, the safe ending was nearly an hour.
Yeah. And mild spoilers, the true ending is even longer. And not just because of cutscenes.
Yeah, I figured
True
as
ending
much.
is like at least 2 hours.
Yeah. So maybe next stream will be just the true ending.
Yeah.
It is likely.
I will probably... I will probably, just for the sake of completion, off camera, just go through and see this scene just to mark it off on the list.
I would also personally suggest that, in addition to doing that, you set it up so that you've gone through door 5 and door 7, door 4 and door 7 before next stream, and then we jump into door 1. Because you've already gotten all of those locks unlocked too.
Yeah. Don't play through door 1 though, because there is new scenes we need to watch.
Yeah, there's a fair few new scenes in there, in fact.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Alright, well, with that, this has been a wild run for this ending, and I will, we'll see the true ending next time. Until then.
Oh,
yeah.
This has been a very fantastic run, and a short run for our kinds of streams on here.
Yeah.
I know, right? Next week is the finale of this.
And then we'll be going right into the sequel.
Yep.
Yay.
But that will be next time. For now, this has started an EP stream. I need to get some rest.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to sleep.
We'll see you all later.
Bye.